Salon Selectives presents hair so beautiful you feel like you just stepped out of a salon.
Salon shine, Salon Selectives, Salon glow, Salon Selectives.
Introducing Salon Selectives, new from Helene Curtis. 4 salon shampoos, 4 salon conditioners. You select the combination that will give you salon beautiful hair.
Salon style.
Feel salon beautiful every day.
Salon Selectives.
The Young and the Restless. This portion sponsored by Oil of Olay.
Look, this is crazy. Man, don't y'all smoke that shit. He just ride. Look. Man, this is crazy, man. I'm telling you. Just fighting in traffic, bruh. Look. He needs somebody to spar with. I go spar with this. Look, this is crazy. He tired now.
Nerdrotic.com. Please subscribe.
Hello.
Hi. Hello.
Yeah. Welcome, everybody, to the Nooner. It's time for another Nooner. It's never too late or too early for a Nooner. A Nooner can be at any time of the day, really, if you want it.
An any timer?
What? Any timer? Any timer? Her. Yeah. I ain't gay. It's just whenever lunchtime is, wherever you work, that's what a Nooner is, just in case the kids don't know all the what is it? The 1% of 18-year-olds who watch the show. So that's probably a good thing. But yeah. Hi. How's it going? What's up? Okay, so my co-host, I'm going to steal this. I'm totally stealing this from Twitter, by the way. I got to see who I got to see who I'm stealing from this from first. Okay, it's from Kiara, and it's Kira Dune. Kira Dune. Yes, the Nerdrotic Nooner. Sorry, Kira, I'm retarded. Featuring Chris Gore. You might have heard of him unless you work for the Mary Sue, of course.
Wait, someone said that?
Yeah. Well, yeah. Didn't you read your Mary Sue article? You shared it.
I actually didn't read the article. I read the first paragraph.
Okay, so they went to your IMDb and they're like, I'm paraphrasing. I'm totally not heard of this person. I looked at the IMDb and I swear I've never heard of him. And I'm like, fake geek girl. There you go. It's an easy way to pick him up.
Thank you for that, Gary. It's weird because like there's information about me in my bio on Twitter. You just could have just stayed on Twitter and clicked on those things and said, oh, here's some projects that I'm doing. So whatever. I don't know. I really don't care. I don't think anyone takes the Mary Sue seriously.
No. And and then she said that like I was your attack dog that you because you can't fight your own battles, so you sent Nerdrotic to go after her. No, I was like, no, I did that shit on my own. I did. It was
I
my
appreciate
own
it.
free will. Yeah, no problem.
No, I appreciate it. I saw a lot of people defend me, and then I saw people just saying shit that like they clearly don't know. They're just ill-informed. It's like with a lot of people, low information voters, right? There's just people, and some guy even said his film courage video was about how you should never kill off legacy characters. An absolute mischaracterization of what was in that video, where I compared the death of Han Solo in Force Awakens to the death of Spock in Star Trek II: The Wrath of Khan, pointing out that Star Trek II: The Wrath of Khan is a better death for these reasons. Then I listed the reasons why it was something that was earned, something that satisfied the audience, whereas the Han Solo death was pointless and meaningless and didn't achieve anything other than, succumb to Harrison Ford's wishes to have the character finally killed off, which he wanted to have happen in Return of the Jedi. So it's weird. It's clearly, I read these comments and I'm like, I'm not going to try to if you can't educate yourself, like I'm not going to even say the words educate yourself, because it just, a lot of the comments were just ill-informed. When you debate someone who's stupid, which is sometimes the internet, which is why I actually prefer YouTube. I can have a nuanced conversation. I can correct a comment, or someone can correct me, So I love that. Oh, there you go. Sweet.
That's right. Libertatem vel mortem. I'm sure I just destroyed that. But David Chandler, thank you. $99.99. Hell, you guys are crazy. Look at you. Guys. And nobody had a problem. Like, we could talk the whole podcast about like nobody had a problem necessarily with Han Solo dying. It's how he died. Now, I'd have preferred that he lived. I think it's okay to have some people ride off into the sunset and you just never, like, they retire, maybe you call them once in a while, but that, like, the thing is, they felt like they needed to kill all of them off because they knew they would overshadow their new characters, because they had a story group writing. The story group writes all the shit, right? Like, the other people will take credit, but who formulates the ideas is the Lucasfilm story group. Ugh. And they suck. Yeah. They're just bad at their jobs. Speaking of bad, I just watched 30 minutes of National Treasure. Holy my God. Az is gonna, like, everybody just, I think we need a wellness check on my buddy Az. Is he safe from National Treasure? Because I wanted to just like kind of dip in, because I don't have time to review this whole show, but maybe I'll make time after this. Because wow, in the first 13 minutes, Chris, we get colonialism bad. The Aztecs were peaceful. And somehow, while the men were getting slaughtered, all the women took off with the gold. We got a Latinx dropped, unironically. We had a MAGA Republican boss. I mean, he's not totally evil, but he's got a red fucking hat on, and he calls somebody a foreigner. And then we have the young lady who wants to be in the FBI, but she can't because she's not an American citizen. And then Harvey Keitel retorts, yeah, you have to be an American citizen. It is the privilege of your birth to become an FBI agent. I've always had a problem with that. That's what he said. No, you have to be a citizen of the country. It doesn't matter where you're born. You have to be a citizen of the country. But they had to get immigration in there too. And then she follows it up. Well, Texas used to be Mexico, and I had a problem with that.
Oh my God. What is all this lecturing? I mean, that is like the worst, and it's so overt. I mean, with Willow, I mean, they're not subtle about it. It's just there. I mean, it's like saying James Cameron is very subtle when he makes his movies. James Cameron's never subtle. So, but it's God. Yeah, I can't. I as soon as I found out that Nick Cage had nothing to do with the new National Treasure, I had no reason to watch it. I mean, he's the one that he made it entertaining. I mean, those are a series of cheesy, bad action movies, but they're inoffensive, they're fine. Also, I like Nick Cage, but if Nick Cage isn't in it, I don't care.
I love the first National. I like both National Treasures, but the first one's awesome. It's brilliant. I freaking love that movie. I've seen it a lot. Watched it with my kids. They dug it. It was like the Librarian. I like that show too. But I think I think National Treasure came first. So Ryan for 100 euros. Wow. Thank you, Ryan. I wonder what classic is next on Disney/Amazon's hit list to desecrate. Here's a potential list. The Forbidden Planet. 2001. Krull, Conan, Legend. When are they going to stop and realize nobody wants what they're selling? Well, we're getting a Planes, Trains, and Automobiles with women.
Is that real?
Yes. I hope we get a Saving Private Ryan with women.
Yeah, let's do that.
It's in development. I don't like development means shit. Like, yeah, Patty Jenkins still thinks her Rogue Squadron is going to happen because it's in development, and it's no. It's you explain this when they don't shelve projects now. What they do is they shove people off to an office, and what they can pitch ideas for like a year or something like that. Give them a little maybe a parking space, and then just quietly ignore them. And that's a cheaper way to keep them in house under NDAs and not going out and bitching about stuff.
Exactly. And then if any decent idea comes out of it, you own it, right? That was developed under their company. But literally, it's just a way to go. We have tons of empty office space, these bungalows. We're going to give you a bungalow. We'll give you a parking spot, and we might even paint your name on the parking spot.
Right. And then that must become, I don't know if empty offices is bad for tax reasons or not. Maybe it's something they can write off. I don't know about that.
It's just very inexpensive because you're literally just giving someone an office space that you have that's plentiful. Oh, this is interesting. I just got a press release. Have you ever heard of the book by Mark Manson, The Subtle Art of Not Giving a Fuck?
Yes.
It's been turned into a movie and it's a documentary, it looks like.
Who's producing it?
It is from Universal Pictures.
Wow. What, really?
Well, their small division is Abramorama. Abramorama is the small division, but I don't know. Well, they're squeaking this one out. It comes out in January. A lot of stuff is going to get dumped in January. It's going to be slim pickings, Gary, for a while. I hope you got like 9 Avatar videos lined up. Oh, because it's going to be slim pickings.
So, yeah, I'll do my review of Daredevil, or I'll do some like legacy reviews.
Picard?
Picard. Well, yes, Picard. Yes.
Yeah, Picard. Oh, X-Ray Girl.
In February, right? So I might be a little busy in January. Yeah.
Well, X-Ray Girl, X-Ray Girl, you may want to do a review of Puss in Boots. I think Puss in Boots needs to be
a bimbo review.
You got to do it.
They're doing a movie of that?
You need to do the entire review with that look on your face.
Yeah. Yeah.
No, it just sounds so silly. Why do a movie on him? Okay.
A very
Is that
popular
a Disney
character.
You know what? It'll probably do better than, it will do better than Strange Worlds. That's for sure.
100%.
100%. Is this the Shrek character? They're doing that version?
The Shrek character.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, he's kind of cute.
See?
He's kind of cute. It is a very girly character. Won't lie. Oh, it's coming out on the 21st. Okay.
January?
Of December.
December, yeah.
Oh, December. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. The Last Wish.
The fact that I have to take 3 hours out of my life to watch fucking Avatar tomorrow. I just don't care. I'm going to go see Fern Gully Environmentalism, the film, which I'm sure will have the exact same themes as the first. We'll see. Maybe it'll be a neat spectacle. But for me, 3D doesn't really work because of my piss poor sight. So it just, I've put glasses over my glasses and it gets super annoying. It's all for real. Is it? Is this true? Find me the article, X-Ray Girl.
I think Garrett did drop it, or Lady did drop it. So
Oh, and I'm
I
making
know.
a Rings of Power video right now. It's like the universe unfolds as it should. Remember, kids. Sorry, I don't mean that's patronizing. I apologize. Remember, adults, grown ass adults, with common sense. I said it was going to get worse before it gets better. We are in the I think the peak of the it gets worse. I mean, like Willow, which I honestly only watched a half episode. Okay, I can only get through 20 minutes. And then National Treasure. Disney just lost $1.5 billion on their streaming, and this is the shit, and it is utter shit that they're putting out, and it's gotten so bad that there is an open conversation, as I brought up before, about like woke Hollywood. Like was a taboo conversation 2 years ago. If you even brought it up, if you even said the word woke, remember it used to, like a couple 3 years ago, saying woke in a title, people did it all the time, but sometimes they would suppress that stuff. They really went after that word, especially around the election. But now it's just like, no, like Roy Price, we're going to go over the Substack again, just in case some of you missed it, called it a woke world. And he's right. And this is a guy who was a former executive at Disney and a former big time executive at Amazon. All right. So the Rings of Power season 2 announces directors for all episode. They have their work cut out for them. They do.
Oh my God. Ugh.
Charlotte, wait, go scroll down. I don't want a fucking Audi, okay?
Sorry,
It's
it keeps
just an
popping
overpriced
up.
VW. That's all it is, okay? I worked on those things. They're a fucking nightmare. I know, German engineering, blah, 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 blah. Charlotte Brandstrom, Sana Himri, and Louise Hooper. One from Madam Secretary. The other from Counterpart. Was a good show. Outlander. Here's the deal, though. Fantasy, especially Tolkien, from the guy who essentially co-created the genre with Robert E. Howard. It's not something like somebody for example, we had a writer from Breaking Bad, great fucking show, couldn't write fantasy to save their lives. Couldn't write fantasy. So bad, I think that person left Twitter for a little bit because they got tired of all the and it's not something like, oh, you can bring in somebody from Madam Secretary to write some Tolkien. Fucking come on. Give me a break or direct it. Well, let's see if women can save the Rings of Power. Scroll down a little bit. Okay. Hamri is both a music and TV series veteran. She directed music videos for artists like Mariah Carey, Nicki Minaj, and Zendaya, as well as episodes of Shameless, Empire, 911, Lone Star, and Prime Video's Wheel.
No.
No. Oh.
I see Discord crying right now. Oh no.
Hooper recently directed episodes from the Netflix The Sandman and The Witcher.
It all makes sense now.
That's awful.
Dude, Hollywood they are so fucking out of touch. God.
Well, maybe it's a case of, how like producers and writers have more power than directors when it comes to television. I mean,
yeah.
And showrunners. So maybe this is just their way of like, we're gonna virtue signal on our director picks to get points, but we're going to pivot in a major way on the direction of the show. I don't see how you save it, because I don't think they created. I mean, the one thing that Peter Jackson's Lord of the Rings, it cannot be underestimated. He created new fans of Lord of the Rings.
Mm-hmm.
New people who are. I mean, I was aware of it. I love the Hobbit cartoon. And the Lord of the Rings, they made that sort of half movie. Remember that? It was sort of like half of Lord of the Rings.
Yep.
Like
oh yeah. I got it.
They used rotoscoping. Like that was cool. So I knew about it, but I became a fan of it. Peter Jackson made me a fan. So I don't think that this is growing the audience. And I think we've had this discussion before, how the problem with sustaining these franchises is that they're becoming less and less valuable, right? Star Wars, you name it, Star Trek, all of the major IP, Marvel. Are you creating new fans? What the early Marvel movies did is they created new fans. Now you've turned on the original fans and even got you into a place where you could make a Marvel Cinematic Universe. You kind of turned on that audience. There was a thing yesterday, I think the Quartering did a video, and then I watched it and I thought, well, I feel a little ripped off, because it said that there's not going to be a season 2 of She-Hulk, but it's actually that it said She-Hulk canceled, but it was about the video game.
Yeah, that was clickbait 101.
Yeah, dude, like, okay, fine, I watched your video. But I don't know. How do you do a season 2?
Is that Perry Nimmer? Did you close that ad?
Yeah, that ad is annoying.
X-Ray Girl.
Oh my God, please.
Freaking Perry Nimmer.
Cannot close it fast enough.
Oh my God. She is a shield. A shield. Oh. She was in my, like, I'm watching a movie, right? And then there's Perry's big face on the screen before. I'm like, oh,
what, a movie? What, like a commercial?
Yeah, it was a commercial. Like, she was in a commercial prior to a movie at the Regal Theater near me. A shield.
Oh, wow. Well, there you go.
All right, go on, Chris. Sorry.
No, I'm just saying that, like, there has to be some concern that, you're in the process of destroying the IP, and by destroying, they don't see it that way. They're modernizing it. They're updating it for modern audiences. Those audiences, that audience doesn't really care, right? I don't think that they're not growing the fan base. And I think that if this is this indication here about season 2 of, and it's so funny, they say the Lord of the Rings season 2. No, it's Rings of Power.
Rings of Power. Yes. Thank you.
The fact that they're doing that is very telling. And I just don't think they're growing the fan base. When you're actively doing things to offend the current fan base, I don't see how you grow it.
You don't. It's the disconnect. It's that disconnect, the hubris. Hollywood just doesn't understand. Hollywood thinks fandom is just another paying customer, or what they call a consumer. Okay.
Right.
And certainly portions are, but the heart and soul of fandom is not. It is based purely on passion. People spend a lot of money, a lot of time getting into these stories and get nothing financially back for it, but they get this thing called enjoyment and joy. These are things Hollywood just has forgotten, never knew. It's up to you, but that's gone now. And they just see fandom like, like politicians see voting blocks now. Mm-hmm. And we're just going to separate it. And, that's where we're at. And they'll never understand it. Once in a while, we get somebody who understands fandom. Henry Cavill, George Lucas still understands fandom, got spurned by him. Yeah. But I would say he still understands fandom better than like Spielberg does, who I think one time did and doesn't anymore. We lost him. Thanks to Kate Capshaw, the Yoko Ono of Hollywood. But yeah, like Amazon. I mean, this plays out like Jeff Bezos woke up one day and said, "I'm super fucking rich. I want to start making TV shows and movies. Let's do it." And you hire people that look like they have the right qualifications. But what Jeff introduced and what Netflix has introduced, because we talked about this when we were on our little ride in LA and you were describing the Netflix building to me. This is a tech approach. This isn't a Hollywood approach. This is a tech approach, which is very different. And it's not conducive to creativity. It's conducive to programmers and not even that anymore. So this is this is going to be the biggest disaster played out financial ever, folks. I mean, we had a precursor to this. We had some foreshadowing. Just look at Star Trek right now. Now, Star Trek is a niche franchise, always has been a niche franchise, always will be a niche franchise, but they tried to make it Star Wars. Even Scotty Mendelson just wrote an article on how Paramount has absolutely failed with Jar Jar Abrams with the reboot. He tried to conflate it a little bit with the previous movies, but those were, I mean, for the most part, very popular and they were hits, especially if you adjust it for inflation. But he finally came out and said, yeah, Jar Jar Abrams, especially with the movies, has been a complete failure. Now, he said it's been a hit on TV. I have never seen anything quantifiable about that at all. I've seen it fade in interest. I don't think anybody gives a shit about Star Trek on Paramount Plus. Does anybody give a shit about Star Trek? I don't even give a shit about it. I'm just, I promised a Picard review because I think it's a good lesson of like how fucking bad things can get. So, yeah. So the Star Trek is Lord of the Rings, but Lord of the Rings is going to cost more than all of those shows combined, and it's going to take longer to produce. So yeah, I don't know how they get out of, if they were turning this around, Chris, in a year, maybe. I would say there's a 0.0000001% chance they could turn around, but with 2 years, not a chance.
No, but what you're going to do is you're going to see more and more data reveal itself that the audience is rejecting these types of movies. I mean, the data is very clear. This year, I think, was the turn. This year was the year that families said, Disney, I don't know if I want to see that Disney movie. I'm hearing things about Disney. And then just look at what have been the successes. I mean, I predict that the new Avatar, The Way of Water, which opens tomorrow, which you're going with your family, Gary. I'm very proud of you. You're taking the whole family to have a 3-hour and 10-minute experience. That's without trailers. I hope you like popcorn. I'm just saying. It won't help. I'm just saying that movie's going to do well. It's going to be very quick to $1 billion. Watch. I mean, the predictions this weekend are massive. So
600 million. Did I hear that right?
Yeah, that's worldwide.
600 million worldwide.
Yeah. Yeah. It's the thing is this, there are a lot of movies like, look, we used to back in the day. I mean, a lot of bad movies are number one at the box office. Right. And you heard my thoughts on Avatar, The Way of Water last week. You know, it's one of those things that like, yes, I can acknowledge the script there's like cringe lines. There's terrible whole characters that ruin things. And at the same time, I enjoyed the experience of the movie. Just because of how the spectacle, all this, you know, I don't want to get into it since no one's seen it yet. But it's going to do well. And you have to look at that. And there's also like in the movie, you know, look, yes, is it? Yeah. Like Top Gun is a much better film than Avatar for sure. That's not even in question or debate at all. It's a Top Gun's a much better movie.
It's nominated. Avatar's nominated for Best Picture for the Golden Globes. You catch that?
Yeah, I saw that. So is RRR. I'm so excited.
I hope RRR wins for you. Just for you. I'm rooting like hell. I would prefer Top Gun. I fuck the Golden Globes. I don't even care. But they didn't. You know who didn't get any nominations? Not a single one. Not technical. Rings of Power.
Oh,
Rings of Power.
Yeah, that was predictable for sure. But no, I think that like Hollywood is so blinded by this stuff. They can't even just look at, you know, empirical evidence. Like here it is. We can all agree these are the top movies. Make more of those, or use the current franchises you have, make them more in the vein of what made those films successful. And pivot to that direction.
Mm-hmm.
I don't see it happening. I just see productions getting shut down is what I see. I think it is completely plausible, though. I did, you know, jump on that clickbait on the She-Hulk article. It was literally about the video game not having her character in the. I don't care about that stuff.
But the hot toy looks bad. Like they did the hot toy.
Yeah.
And it looks terrible. It looks fucking terrible. Like she's got Uncanny Valley and a hot toy. It's like, come on, guys, you're better than this. But what they did is they based it on the fucking CG of the show. Oof. And she looks like she's like got a butt plug in or something. Like her eyes are wide open, like she's got crazy eyes. I'll find a picture of it.
Oh my god, I have.
It's pretty bad. That was probably a very crass description.
But yeah, I could see them canceling the second season of She-Hulk. I mean, at this point, it's like how much streaming content needs to fail. But the thing is we don't even know the degree. Like, what is the barometer? I know the barometer they use is minutes watched, right?
Yes.
But I don't know. I keep hearing Willow is tanking.
I don't know why they used minutes watched to not used views. Because like I understand why YouTube uses minutes watched. That's for advertisers.
Yes,
absolutely. That's what the advertisers give a shit about. So minutes watched is a very important driver of your channel, of your content. It's the thing that YouTube prioritizes over views. But at Disney, Amazon, there's no advertising, so you're just trying to put it in a pool to make it sound like a big fucking number. That's all you're doing.
Well, have they rolled out? Oh, sorry, Harry.
No, go on.
Have they rolled out the ad-supported Netflix and Disney Plus yet?
No, it got delayed.
Okay.
And somebody sped up theirs. I think Netflix is doing one, and Disney's doing one, and that's going to be their big saviors. Although, like Netflix, it's got churn and everything, but if you could look at the minutes watched, they rule everything, like absolutely everything. They're still the vast majority. So if you go to views, and then you got to say like, okay, how many people watch the entire episode of She-Hulk?
Right.
Not just 5 minutes, not just a minute, because like the BBC iPlayer will count watching Doctor Who for a minute, a view of the entire episode, which is bullshit. So what I did one time is I just did YouTube math. I did the same thing. I'm like, okay, well, it's probably, there's a certain percentage of people who watch your entire video, and it's, out of all the views, and it's like 20, 30%, could go down to 15, but I'm going to say 15 for She-Hulk, because I doubt people, because YouTube videos average 10 minutes in length. Well, She-Hulk's not much longer. It's only 22 minutes in length. So we'll say 20%, but like 20% of what? 300,000, a million. Right. So 20% of a million is 200,000 people watch your show. Now I'm sure it's more than that, but it can't be much more on a platform with 100 million subscribers. Yeah. And you got 1 million people watching your show, and not even all of them are watching the entire thing. That's the degradation I saw in the comic book industry. I saw them belting out a bunch of variants of the same story, so the sales go up. But how many people are actually reading the comic books they take home? And it's less than half. It's a lot of habitual collectors, and they just want to complete it. And they probably have every intention, and maybe some read the comic books, but a lot of them get left unread. So if you're not creating actual readers, why are are comic books just now pictures you put on your wall? No, you need them reading it. So it's kind of the same thing. You need them watching the entire episode. You need people reading the books. You need people reading the comic books. And what fandom is filled with is all the surface level shit, like that broad who wrote about you calls herself a fan because she had a lightsaber in her hand. I bought a lightsaber, so I'm a big Star Wars fan now. No, you're not. You read the books. You watch the movies. Do you at least watch the movies? Yeah. So yeah, virtue signaling is just it's absolutely destroyed our culture right now, and it needs to stop because it's empty. It means nothing. It means nothing. It's a bunch of vapid, narcissistic people trying to make themselves feel better.
Exactly. Bingo.
And it's not working, and they don't know why. And they're like, I put pronouns in my bio and a trans flag in my avatar, and I still don't feel better. I wonder why. So, okay, here we go. Apart from the character Prime Video is yet to reveal. Oh, they talk about Joseph Malway just being the one smart person and leaving. Could you scroll down a little bit more? Let's see what else. Is it just fluff after this? I mean, this is Clark.
Yeah.
Fuck's sake. Yeah. Okay. All right. That Yellow Flash. Thanks, brother. By the way, Yellow Flash, Miles Morales is Miles Morales, and Peter Parker is Spider-Man. I am still it's beautiful because now, yeah, it's and this happens all the time. So I'll put up a tweet saying Miles Morales is Miles Morales and Peter Parker Spider-Man. These are factual statements, by the way. Not saying anybody isn't anything. I'm just saying this what they are. And it triggers so many people. But it's always like a 2-day delay, Chris. It's like a 48-hour delay. All of a sudden, I'm like, my mentions are just filled from a tweet I did like 4 days ago. I'm like, oh, wow. They found it.
Oh, Gary, did you see the Spider-Verse trailer?
Yeah, I didn't like it.
Yeah, I didn't like it.
I didn't like
there's
it.
also a line. There's literally a line in there that I think, oh, this is for this. There's a line like, "Don't let anyone tell you don't belong here." That
Yeah.
line.
No, I got that.
Yeah.
I got that.
Like,
I was laughing my ass off. Oh. Okay. Miles Morales is Miles Morales. Just for the thick. It doesn't mean he doesn't belong there. It doesn't mean he's a character. I own his first. I gotta send. I promise I gotta send Flash one. I own a long box of his first appearance. A long box of 9.6 bagged Miles Morales first appearance. Been sitting on it forever. I also have a short box full of Deadpool's first appearance. But yeah, and I don't even have it here. It's in our storage in San Francisco. But yeah. I was around when Miles came out, and I caught, I think Miles should have had a different superhero name. I'm fine with his costume. I'm fine with his powers. I'm fine with his existence. And I think he would have been great as somebody for Peter to mentor. So Peter could have like his Robin. I think it would have been interesting. Something different you did with Spider-Man. And then he goes off on his own with his own name and then creates new stories. But where is Miles Morales' death of Gwen Stacy? Where's his Sinister Six? He doesn't have any of the classic. I think it was Flash who pointed out in his video. Like Spider-Man had his absolute classics within the first 150 issues.
Yes. Right?
Miles has no, it was Eric, I think, who maybe I'll just give him both credit. Miles has no identity other than I'm the Black Spider-Man.
Right.
And that's whose fault is that? Is that my fault? No, it's the writer's fault. It's the editor's fault. It's Marvel's fault.
Yeah. Yeah. But I couldn't, that line just sort of really stood out. Like,
dude.
I was like, what does this have to do with the story? There's nothing to do with the story at all. It was put in there another sort of like poking at the audience, right? Like when, I don't know, it's sort of ridiculous.
It absolutely is. And like, I didn't mind the first movie.
No.
Thought it was fine. I took my kid. We enjoyed it for what it was. It's a cartoon. It's across the Spider-Verse. We got to see Kingpin. I understand why people didn't like elements of it, but I just didn't see it as anything that counted, right? It's just a cartoon. But now they're gonna ratchet up. They're gonna ratchet up. It's gonna be kind of like I kind of see it like if I went back and watched it again, I'd probably see it differently, like Mad Max Fury Road, because before I got in the culture war, I saw Fury Road and I just liked all the action in it. But then I went back and watched it again. I'm like, oh, it's patient zero of like everything that's fucking going on.
Yeah,
and I love George Miller. I think he's a great director. I would have loved to have seen his Justice League. That would have been fucking awesome. But it was definitely patient zero. And so was Logan, if we want to be real. So was Logan, a movie that I really enjoyed and have only seen once. Never went back and watched it again. I'm like, that was sad, dark, pathetic. Here we go. Oh my. Okay, I'm gonna go over here to the list. X-Ray Girl. How you doing, X-Ray Girl? You okay?
Good.
Look busy.
I'm just,
Am I bothering you?
No, I'm doing my thing.
Okay, good.
I'm half listening, half typing, half thinking.
X-Ray Girl's she's a pro.
Half shopping. I'm joking. I'm not shopping.
You are shopping,
dude. Every time they start talking about video games on Friday Night Tights, I'm on eBay. Boom. All right, this is gonna go on for 10 minutes. It's great. Give me a little time off. I don't mind it, by the way. I actually, that's why we have other hosts there to cover other things that I don't. I think it's actually very good. Buford T Justice for $49.99. Hail, brother. I don't know if it is just me, but if Henry Cavill isn't Superman, I'm done with Warner Brothers and DC. Like I'm done with Disney, Marvel, Lucasfilm. I watch so few movies and TV shows now, it won't really matter. Hollywood has lost me as a customer. And Buford, you are one of many, 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 many. And they're seeing this now. That the investor money has dried up. We had a good conversation with your friend, a very kind, cool person. At the 35er,
yes,
who discussed 35 projects, and like the first thing he says to me is, "Oh yeah, all the money's dried up. It's just gone. It just went up in a puff of smoke." Right around the time FTX went down. Coincidence, total coincidence. I'm not saying it's all FTX. I'm just saying a little bit. But it's the money's dried up, the investor money dried up, and that's the important part. Is like investors in Wall Street were all about this streaming stuff, right? Because it was Hollywood's. It was the first time Robert Meyer Burnett brought this, and I got to give him credit. It was the first time Hollywood had a consistent revenue stream that wasn't, every film is a gamble, and this wasn't a gamble. And it's even a gamble. But as Roy Price points out that we're going to get to, it's actually, it's terrible. It's freaking awful. It's the worst thing they could have done. And they gave up on a bunch of other revenue streams that were shrinking, but they were still there. And it's dumb. There's some, for streaming to work, Chris, you can't make physical media.
Right.
And you can't license things out. The problem is now that everybody's doing it, it becomes worthless, and you go, wow, maybe those DVD sales were really cool.
Well, they're destroying like all these ancillary revenue streams because they think streaming is the end game, but it's literally killing the industry.
It is the end game for Hollywood.
Yeah.
Well, Taylor Swift had the top 10 songs, and the only reason she had the top 10 songs is because the music industry is a shadow of its former self. The music industry used to be as big, if not bigger, than Hollywood as far as generating revenue. And it like that's what my generation was like, completely hung up on music. That was our internet, right? Mm-hmm. So and it's just not that way anymore. And when it went to when it got digitized, it made it available to everyone, but it also lessened its importance based on an old model. Okay. They never figured out the new model. They tried to fight it so much that they never tried to embrace the new model. We're seeing something similar with AI. AI is going to change Hollywood, comic books, everything forever. I mean, it's an unstoppable force. Doesn't mean artists are going to be out of work. The great ones still will be. They'll have work, but it's a big change that's coming. And Hollywood's going to be able to save a lot of money. Once the AI CG, oh shit. I mean, it sounds insane now, but it'll happen sooner than later. Hayden for $50. Hail, Gary, Chris, and chat. Hail to you. Thank you for the $50. But you know what killed Hollywood, Chris? Wokeism.
Yeah.
It's the basis of all this. It's like they had all these other problems, so they decided to pile on the worst one possible. That was, I mean, it's not the straw that broke the camel's back. It's the giant, 1,000-ton boulder that fell on the camel and flattened it. That's the problem they didn't need. And they got arrogant because in 2019, when the economy was good, when we had a president who understood it, might not like him, but he understood the economy a lot better than the current one does. And that was the best economy I've ever seen. Ever. Like there were jobs everywhere, there was money everywhere, there was it was crazy. And now it's over for a long time, and Hollywood's going to have to deal with that. And they could have survived it because Hollywood has survived a depression. And why did Hollywood survive the depression? Because it was escapism. It was escapism from a dark time. And it survived recessions because it was escapism from dark times. It was recession. Remember, Hollywood used to be recession proof. Recession proof. Not anymore.
No.
Gary saw the trailer for Pale Blue Eye. Looks really good. You should check it out. I like the trailer too. Alan didn't like it, right?
I didn't like it. I don't think it's his type of movie.
Shake from Hunger Team. Thank you for $20. I'm going to see it. Oh, I'm there. I haven't watched Troll yet. I got to find time this weekend. I've been working on those writing. I had to watch the making of the Rings of Power. I know Disbrew's done some great videos on it. Disbrew did a great video yesterday. You got to watch. Basically how insane actors are killing Hollywood. Go watch that. Disbrew's a good guy. Superstar in the making. But I watched the making of, and they're only like 5 minutes long, but it felt like hours. And it's probably because like after 2 minutes, I get up and find something else to do. I'm like, oh, I need to vacuum, or something like that. It was terrible, but it's mixing in with my other video. But I just realized if I'm going to see Avatar, I guess, do I have to do an Avatar review, chat? If I'm going to see it, I think I should.
You should do it, Gary.
You may as well.
You know who's really excited? Literally the opposite of you is Jay, drunk 3PO. He has a Drunk on Pandora. It's an entire channel, just Avatar news. He is chomping at the bit. He is like a kid he's like a kid in the next Harry Potter movies coming out. He's so excited, and I love his enthusiasm. He's just unabashed, doesn't care. I love Avatar. I like the Pandora Land at Disney World. Like, he loves it. And so whenever I hear him talk about it, I just laugh. I'm like, I love it. I love it that there's like, that he's such a super fan. So his channel's Drunk on Pandora, and it's just all Avatar news. I didn't realize there was so much Avatar news even to be found.
There's a ton. James Cameron recently just kind of threw, he took the blame for Terminator Dark Fate, but he basically threw it at Arnold. It's my fault for putting in Arnold. Tim didn't want Arnold. But who in the fuck wrote and okayed Arnold being Schrodinger's rapist? Because that's what he was. And I have to credit the Mary Sue. The one thing they did right was break down all the like ultra intersectional feminism in Dark Fate. And they're like, yeah, it's really good. And I'm like, no, but thanks for breaking it down really succinctly for us, to the point where he was a draper. That's what his job was. Yeah. It's like, oh shit, this is so bad. And people have faith in this guy to do his little blue water movie. Listen, some people are gonna like it. We'll see. Maybe I'll walk out loving it.
I first of all, I don't know that you will, but you're gonna see so many problems while you're watching it. I expect you to laugh at inappropriate places.
Yeah, like I'm fine with Planet of the Apes making like the humans the bad people, but I'm not a big fan of it, especially when it's just a big colonialism message and environmental message, and like it wasn't as it was heavy-handed in that movie, but not in all of Hollywood at the time. But just to give you guys a frame of reference, you probably already know it, but this was for me anyway, because I was talking to my youngest son about it, and he's like, how old was I when the first Avatar came out? I'm all 4.
Oh, wow.
You were 4. You were fucking 4. I didn't say that, but, and he's 17 now. I was owning the comic shop. And then I also went to this for a couple months. I went to this digital I went to this digital video intensive school, which actually paid off great at the time. I, thought it was a total failure after I bailed out of Hollywood, but it turns out like all those skills I can apply to YouTube. So cool. But yeah, that was 2009. I was in this like digital video intensive school because it was a recession. The comic shop wasn't making a bunch of money, so I needed to find another job, and I really couldn't go back to part, so I needed to find a job where I could be a freelancer, right? That was the whole point of it. And yeah, it was a long fucking time ago. And when I walked out of that movie, I'm like, that was pretty and terrible. It was the worst story. I didn't like any of the people. Sam Worthington, who ironically enough, I met like 2 days before I saw the movie at a bar at some little soiree, and he's a hobbit. He's a little guy. He seemed nice, you know. I liked him better in Clash of the Titans, to be honest with you. But yeah, I just walked out of the movie going, technical achievement, absolutely spectacular, great 3D, great everything. Worst James Cameron movie ever by far. Like by far. King's Advisors, this is in 2 parts for 1990. So it's 1998 in total. Says part 1, just watched the National Treasure show. I love the movies. The show is hot garbage. Another great example of Disney ruining IPs to push social agendas. And like, dude, they push it all in the first 15, 20 minutes. And it gets worse. And oh my God, how much of it did you watch, Chris?
I did. National Treasure.
Did you not get a screener, or did you just not bother?
I didn't care. As soon as I found out Nicolas Cage wasn't in it, I didn't care. I also, it's one of the things we were talking before the stream started. You could, it's a thing you could review without having seen it. It has all the things you know are going to be in a modern Disney Plus TV show.
Well, yeah, Willow's going to be a side character. Like, he'll be in it,
right?
But the through line will not go through him. He will be on the journey with the main character. You know, so it's a very subtle way of it's a bait and switch. It's a bait and switch.
Yeah.
Doesn't even show up in the first episode till the end.
Till the very
end. I don't know if they're going to even reference the Nicolas Cage character. I think they might. But yeah, they're just doing National Treasure with the Latinx girl, which is going to endear yourself to the Latino community so much. Part 2 studios need to stop trying to fix the Aztec and Incan societies. They sacrificed women and children. They are not the innocent party they seem to be now. Review hopefully coming later today. Good, King's Advisors, because yes, in the first 2 minutes, they kind of treat the Aztecs as if they were just this peaceful race just sitting there. No. They were killing on.
I'm sorry, Gert.
No, go on.
That is a weird thing that seems to permeate everything now. Is that if you were, you're one of these the primitive civilizations, you're among them. You're absolutely you're good and kind and peaceful and whatnot. We were talking about on another stream. I was talking with Paul Chato, and we were discussing how they do land acknowledgements constantly in Canada. Like, I used to go to this film festival called the Toronto Film Festival in Toronto, Canada. I take the train from Windsor, coming from Detroit, and I'd go to Toronto, and it was a great festival to catch indie movies. Now it's just completely taken over by wokeness with these land acknowledgements that don't make sense, because Paul was pointing out that, like, one of the land acknowledgements is like acknowledging a tribe that like wiped out another tribe. Like, all these tribes were warring. They weren't like these like peaceful, kind, mystical figures. And that's sort of what people what seems to be spreading in almost everything, including Avatar, by the way, is not as much. But it's just so boring, because it's just as dumb as saying, well, all the colonizers are great and perfect and never did anything wrong. Hey, people did crazy, barbaric shit to each other in the past. Okay. But to uplift one group and say they're better than another one, I don't know that can be argued. That can't be argued factually. You can put it as some sort of fantasy thing in your mind, but it's complete BS. So there you go. There's my rant of the day. There might be more. I don't know.
You're muted.
Oh, you're muted, Gary. Sorry.
Oh no.
I was looking at something with you didn't miss much. I was just saying, agreeing with you. Yes, here in America, after the Emancipation Proclamation, indigenous people kept slaves for a long time. They're bad people everywhere, and there's good people everywhere. And you're right, to lift one up over the other, like shit. It was the Aztec Empire. Okay, it was an empire. They conquered people too. They just got conquered by another empire. It's kind of how it works. Is it just? Is history just? No, it's just history. Okay. But my favorite part was while all the men were getting killed, all the women, they make a point to say, all the women found the gold and these tunnels, and all the women went down with the gold. They're just like, really? If you can't tell that they're women on the screen, they tell you twice. It's written by functional retards. That's the only thing I could think of.
It's people who have been told a version of history that's a freaking fairy tale, but believe it now. You know, like it's fine. We give, you know, kids of a certain age, you get, you know, taught in history, and it's you gloss over some things, and you know, when kids are ready to hear maybe a darker vision of history, more accurate, you know, it's got to be age appropriate. But I feel like the version of history that's being pushed in all these movies and TV shows is the one for children. It's stupid. It's insulting, is what it is. So there you go.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Oh yeah. I did see that. John Williams saying that they're working on when was that filmed? I wonder, Lady Gravemaster, or filmed, videoed. He said that they were working on a new ending for Indiana Jones.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he did. Now,
no.
That could mean a lot of things, but him saying that out loud right now, after, it's kind of funny. It's kind of funny. I can't be bothered by Indiana Jones. It's going to be another Lucasfilm disaster. Does this surprise anybody? No. The shittiness of Kathleen Kennedy overshadows whatever James Mangold is good at. Okay, which is not social media, by the way. It's directing, yeah, sure. But it is not social media. Let's see. Okay, we got that. There we go. I'm getting that Roy Price thing. But yeah, John Williams says, like somewhere down that video, he's like, yeah, we're doing these things and we're working on another ending for Indiana Jones 5. Oh no. And he could have just misspoke, but that's going to be going around for a while. We got till June. They have plenty of time to shoot like another movie. It's not like they haven't done that before with Solo.
Oh my God.
So like Lucasfilm, if you're wondering why people don't believe you, it's because you lie and get caught. Oh God, Kathleen Kennedy's terrible. She is terrible.
When you look at she is from the standpoint of she doesn't know how to work with other creative people.
No.
She doesn't know how to kind of give them the support to do their best. What happened on Solo, I mean, that was kind of a disaster. And we've heard also their contentious relationship with J.J. Abrams. I'm not defending J.J. Abrams. I'm just saying that, you know, she and Lucasfilm are very difficult to deal with.
Yep.
It appears. I mean, when you look at the number of projects, that were announced that didn't happen. The Rian Johnson trilogy,
right?
The Game of Thrones dudes, their trilogy. They were going to do a trilogy. The Patty Jenkins with
a trilogy.
Yeah,
a trilogy. That's old
Patty
boy.
Jenkins. I'm hearing that script for that Rogue Squadron was just bad. But why would you announce it? Why wouldn't it be in development for some time before a script was delivered, and then you announce you're making the movie? A lot of things are developed. They developed a Boba Fett movie, which probably evolved into, The Mandalorian. I mean, Josh Trank was supposed to do that. I was at Star Wars Celebration when his panel was supposed to be back to back with Gareth Edwards' Rogue One panel, and they just announced they were parting ways on the day the panel was supposed to happen. That is the weirdest thing. Like, you're doing a panel about a movie that's been announced, and the director, you just part ways. Like, what is it with her and relationships with creative?
Dude, it's horrible. It's obviously horrible. But Patty Jenkins shot a video for the investors thing that they did. Remember? She had a like she like, my father was a fighter pilot. It was a nice little video, you know, talking about her pops. But yeah, it didn't happen because Star Wars is dead. It's a television property now. Think about that. Yeah. You know what? Star Trek tried to make itself Star Wars, but Star Wars made itself Star Trek. But worse. Holy shit! It's a streaming property now. Like, it. Good luck with the movie, with the Star Wars movie. If you think you'll get anything, I like if they release a Star Wars movie, it'll probably track like an Ant-Man movie. Oh, and there's a rumor that Ant-Man dies in Quantum Mania.
Oh, is that a rumor?
Yeah, I don't know if I believe that or not. That would be some stupid shit. Like, that would be stupid. I mean, it's going to be stupid anyway, but that would be like particularly stupid. I almost want it to happen. I kind of almost want it to happen.
Well,
like, at least we'd have something to talk about with the fucking movie, because otherwise I don't care.
I mean, who knows? Maybe they would do a proper death, like he sacrifices himself.
Well, that's the point.
Family,
they're trying to make Kang the big bad, right? And quite frankly, I watched Loki and I wasn't getting it. Remember? Sorry, you didn't see it. There's a part in National Treasure where Catherine Zeta-Jones, who's the bad girl boss, walks in with like this bum, 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 and you're supposed to like, this is like this really intimidating person, and she looks like a Hollywood socialite with a face that could double for a flotation device because there's so much fucking plastic in it.
Oh my god,
she can't emote. She's like, my name is Catherine Zeta-Jones now.
Oh man,
ladies, don't do that. Don't do fine. You're fine. Age gracefully. Fine.
Yeah.
Jesus.
Yikes.
I don't like that puffy Madonna Hollywood face is not a good look. I don't know if anybody's told them that or not.
Nope.
2022 State of Media Year-End Thoughts. Now, we went over this on Friday Night Tide, so sorry for some repeated, but I want to kind of go over this with Chris. So this is Roy Price, formerly. He's doing his own thing now, but he's formerly of Disney and founder of Amazon Prime Video. At least that's what his Twitter bio says. And that's what I've heard. And I know he used to work there. Did you find it odd how mainstream media, Hollywood podcasts generally take the tone of everything is fine? I wonder who he could be talking about. Few companies are making money. Tons of people are getting laid off. Very quietly, by the way, Chris. You're not hearing like mass layoffs in Hollywood, but we know they're happening.
Yeah.
No one is getting back end. The monetary back end, and many important shows and movies aren't landing with audience. Is that mine? That's
I think it's yours.
Me. What exactly is fine? Let's see. Let me read it. I already signed up. The 10 biggest business issues in Hollywood. Number 1, interest rates are up. No one cares about your imaginary earnings in year 10. Investors want profit now. Shift from growth to profitability. That's a big one, Chris.
That's huge, because it's all been about growth. Grow your subscribers, grow that base. Like, so yeah, like switching to profitability could end up being like, I think that's what Zaslav wants. I mean, that's why he killed Batgirl and is making major changes. I think he's making major changes for the better. There was also a recent article that came out talking about how Illumination Animation, which is Universal's animation wing, right? Universal / DreamWorks, all that, has outdone Disney 3 years in a row. Disney Animation doesn't have it together. And you're looking like when they couldn't make a good Buzz Lightyear movie, how could you screw that up? Probably one of, Pixar's biggest franchises characters, Buzz Lightyear. You insult fans by recasting the voice. I don't care. You just could have made it work. You just could have. You didn't need to bring in Chris Evans. It didn't matter.
Yeah, that was stupid. That was really stupid. And what else could have been behind that but politics? And I know they gave him the Santa Claus, but the initial decision, would Tim Allen cost more than Chris Evans? I don't think so. Right. Even though he's like attached to the movies, I still don't think so. Not much more. Yeah. And it would have just, yeah, it was a dumb decision, and it would have been it probably would have done better if he was involved. As a matter of fact, I know it would have. It would have done better. I'm not saying it would have been a hit, but it would have been done much better. If he was involved.
From a story standpoint, the original concept was that he was in love with a girl that, he either had to complete the mission or be with the girl. And it was a choice. I mean, I know that's a choice that is a common thing. It's a common thread in heroic movies. Well, the reason is because it works. It resonates with audiences, right? So they changed that to making his commander involved in a lesbian relationship that results in a son, which is never really explained. And I don't know, it doesn't make sense. It didn't really make any sense at all.
That's intersectionalism. It doesn't make sense. It's a made-up word by academics, Marxist academics.
Yeah.
The rapid decline of pay TV, 66% of homes now. So that's the unplugging that's been going on for years. I mean, I unplugged a long time ago. 2017, I think. The apparent saturation of Roy, I think it's an oversaturation of SVOD, at least in the most lucrative markets. So we've talked about this before. Streaming, the most popular streaming shows are old sitcoms.
The Office.
The Office, Friends. I don't know about Big Bang Theory. God, I hated that show.
I hated that show. I've never watched a whole episode of that show. I always despised it. I thought it was like blackface for nerds. It was just bad.
Yeah, exactly. Let me put it this way. No one ever talked about it in my comic shop. Not once.
Yeah.
Not once. They all hated it. And the still bad state of theatrical, despite Top Gun and the upcoming Avatar, everything else is way down. And Chris, you pointed this out in, I believe, a Midnight's Edge live stream. 2019, $46.5 billion was the worldwide box office. It was an all-time record.
Yeah.
It was down significantly because of COVID, so whatever. But the following year, when movies did come out, including Spider-Man No Way Home, it was still over 50% off of that number. You don't lose that kind of income, and things are not okay when you lose that kind of income. They're just not. So a giant bailout and PPP loans kept things going for a long time. To the point where I went and saw The Rings of Power in a brand new theater in Waco, Texas. No disrespect to Waco, but this is the nicest movie theater I've ever been in. Nicer than anyone in San Francisco, nicer than anyone in freaking LA, nicer than anyone in San Diego, New York. You go down the line. This was the nicest movie theater I've ever, full on interactive, crazy shit going on. Brand new, beautiful movie theater in Waco that we paid for, our tax money. And it's just to kick the can down the road.
Yeah.
Theaters are not going to be okay. They're not. For every Avatar, there's going to be 100 Strange Worlds now, because just people are out of the habit of going to the movies, and they have zero. Half the country has zero fucking tolerance for Hollywood's cultural bullshit right now. And as your friend said, as you told me in the chat or in our DMs, Hollywood is on the precipice of its own French Revolution, but it doesn't know it yet.
Yes, I really believe that that's going to happen. And there are going to be some studios that lean heavily into what were the highest grossing movies. Let's make more of that. And let's also try to figure out why that movie succeeded, why it resonated with people. More of that. Let's look at the biggest failures. Why did they fail? It's very easy to look at that. You know, it's very easy to answer both of those questions. So I don't see how the choices are pretty easy for people at these organizations. It's a matter of, do they have the will? Do they have the will and the fortitude, the strength, the leadership to be able to say, this is the reality. You know, we got to make a product people want to see. And if you're not down with that, you don't need to work here.
No. Part of creativity is going with your gut, right?
Yeah.
You go with your gut and not analytics and all that shit. And sometimes you have to make a gut decision and you have to make it quickly. That is impossible now. Utterly impossible. Not that it was super easy before super corporate Hollywood, but it was easier than it is now. So you have these giant ships that cannot turn fast enough. They just won't. And they're going to just, we're going to get this garbage pumped out for easily another 2 years, right?
Yeah.
You'll see some, Warner Brothers will probably turn things around sooner I would say the James Gunn, the entire fate of the DCU is on Henry Cavill's shoulders. You better bring him in, because if you don't, the negatives will far outweigh the positives. Sad but true. I don't think it's sad personally. I think it's good. But for you, poor James Gunn, you better bring him in. I think that's a deal breaker with a lot of people. I think DC fans have been patient, and they're not going to be patient after that.
Yeah.
The growth of TikTok and YouTube. Finally, somebody brings this up. Now, Chris, I know you've been warning Hollywood for a long time. I've been warning Hollywood. A lot of us have been warning. This is stuff we have been saying for years and been called, and you in the chat as well. And what were we called again? White supremacist, racist, fascist, pipeline to the alt-right, all kinds of fun things. But none of them really counteracted any of our arguments. They were just accusations. So the growth of TikTok and YouTube as a competitor, Hollywood, is now something being talked about. Interesting, Chris.
Yeah.
I think we entertain ourselves now, and I think it's impossible for Hollywood to find investors to put up a bunch of money for a show that could lose to, a new show, for example, that can lose badly to Crowder or Tim Pool. CNN Plus. Anyone remember? Well, the same goes for entertainment and these entertainment spaces. That's why some critics in the quote unquote movie talk space, not my label, really don't like us being around because it really disrupts their narrative. Too bad, so sad. The revolution at Twitter. Wow, this is somebody taking a very real approach to the revolution of Twitter is a real thing, and it exposes much more than big tech. It exposes Hollywood as well. It exposes the gatekeepers. It exposes the system. Everybody working hand in hand in tandem. These are supposed to be competing companies, not colluding companies. And why are they colluding? Wokeism. The problem Hollywood has refused to talk about until now. The rise of fast, free streaming like Tubi and Pluto services. I don't know. How do you feel about that, Chris?
I'm glad that those services exist. I don't want to see the same Geico commercial 9 times or 20 times when I'm watching a movie. So I generally don't use them. But if someone's only option is for that, it's fine. So I appreciate that those exist. And I like the variety of programming on things like Tubi and whatnot. I think that they're Tubi and Pluto, they've got a lot of small indie movies mixed in with some mainstream stuff and traditional television. It's basically like over the air. They just got to fix this commercial thing where I don't want to see the same commercial. I don't mind a commercial break, but the same commercial every single break. It's mind numbing.
Like Pluto's free, right? So you just have it's over the air a la carte, which I think is kind of the future. I think that's the future. Is over the air a la carte. I'll just pick what I want to see. Just give me, I don't want it centralized though. I don't like centralization. I'm not a big fan of it. I know it's convenient, but it's a convenient way to lose your freedom.
Yeah.
Honestly, I'm still going to go like hardcore physical media as long as I can.
Yes.
And there's some really cool, like small places that are pumping out like DVDs. Shout Factory.
Yes.
Dude, I just got my 4K War Games and a poster, and they gave me a nice little poster from Shout Factory. That was cool. My steel book was it Army of Darkness? Yeah, my steel book Army of Darkness. And the birth of AI, which he goes into. We're not going to go into that, but I think that changes a lot of stuff as far as employment in Hollywood. In Hollywood, SVOD feels mature. Do you think I think it does actually, Chris? I think it mature lightning fast.
Yep.
Well, let's think about it with music. How many places were there where you can buy or you can get your MP3s? There were a lot at one time.
Oh my God. Remember 99 cents a song?
Yeah.
I have I spent thousands for that 99 cents a song back in the day. Now it's $15 a month, and my whole family has Spotify, and we just create our own playlists, our own separate accounts, and we just listen to whatever, to everything.
Mm-hmm.
So,
and because I'm Joe Rogan, I got Spotify. I don't think I pay for it though. And I buy vinyl.
Right.
So, it's weird. It's weird. One thing. Okay, so in Hollywood, SVOD feels mature and pay TV is shrinking. We don't like shrinkage. One thing this is exposing is that really the world of cable TV subscriptions, plus ads, plus ownership in the form of DVDs, plus a healthy theatrical business was a much better business model than just having one subscription to an SVOD service. This is mostly because the old system with price discrimination and Windows was able to capture the surplus in the demand curve much better than just a single window and a single price. It's arguably that too much value is currently going into SVOD segment of the value chain. Any paying customer, not consumer, could have told you that. I mean, like when it was all starting, what were people saying? 3 streaming services is my max. I'm not going over that. And if streaming services are like gym memberships, they rely on you forgetting that you got them. Or you don't, or like, oh, maybe someday I'll go back. So you just keep it going. It's just something you kind of forget. And I did that for a while. Now I'm in a very good habit of like going over all my subscriptions. And am I using this? Nope. Bye. But that's not a good business model. Like, we get a certain percentage of money of people who just forget we exist until they remember, Chris. But they're not watching. That's the thing. So you got a bunch of subs who aren't watching. Great. How does that help anything? Another self-evident issue no one talks about is the shows and films are not connecting with audiences as they should be and used to. The number of new shows, check this out. I don't know if you knew this or not. The number of new shows that audiences love has notably decreased in the past 4 years, 53%. That's half. That's over half.
That's crazy.
Who has Hollywood been alienating over the last 4 years?
True.
Half the audience?
Yeah.
Oh, it's quantifiable now. Meanwhile, the audience's general connection to Hollywood seems to be diminished for said reason. Award shows viewership has fallen off the table 70%. 70%. Award shows are dead, by the way.
Yes, the format. It's almost like I look on it as a dead format, like the sitcom with the laugh track,
Yep.
or the late night talk show with the cheeky conversation promoting the latest movie with some dumb comedy bits. Like I haven't watched a late night. I always see clips only when people say things that are stupid, which is more often than I like. I'm talking about Colbert or Jimmy Kimmel. I remember when they were funny, or I thought they were funny, and now they're literally Colbert is he's just an agent of the state at this point, and he's happy to be that, and it's creepy to see what happened to him. So
yeah, dude. Oh, yeah, he's like partying at the Obamas. You know, yeah, you just fucking the Pfizer thing. I think when he did that Pfizer basically commercial with those dudes dancing in the hypo, that was like the death of late night. I mean, it's been dying anyway, but that was the death. Just as with the death of Marvel Comics comes with their Pfizer comic, trying to get people that they're still trying to push the fucking jab. Somebody put on Twitter, there's a big ad of some company paying people to take the jab and the flu shot.
Oh my God.
I'll just say for me personally, when I stopped getting the flu shot, I stopped getting the flu.
Oh my God.
I'm not saying I'm never going to get it again, but worst flu ever had was right after I had a flu shot. And I'm like, not doing that again.
Well, they're always like, and they talk about this. There's countless interviews you can read. It's a guess of what the new variant is going to be. It's literally a guess. And sometimes they get it right and it's effective. And sometimes they don't get it right and it's effective. And it's ineffective. Yeah. So I don't know. I've had like, I've talked to people who work in the medical industry, and there are more different opinions than you would think.
Yes.
There's not the freedom to speak about them.
No.
Which is unfortunate. So is it this super chat's directed toward me? Do you mind if I address
it?
Go for it.
Chris Gore, did you go to the Hollywood for Freedom party in Sherman Oaks last Saturday? I did not. I was unaware that was a party that happened. Our own freedom group is having a party in Palmdale tonight. First of all, like what kind of party is this? Is this people who work in the industry? Is this just I don't know. So no, I didn't. I didn't go, not aware of it. I did go to, when Zuby was in town, I went to a Zuby meetup, and happened to come. This was in the midst of like the hardcore lockdown, like when everything was hardcore lockdown. It was at a private residence, and people just brought like beer and soda and snacks. It was like a junior high or like a high school party. It was kind of funny, but there were like a little over 100 people there. Eric Weinstein was there, which was interesting. It's like, hey, I know you. I follow you on Twitter. So he had an interesting conversation, got to chat with Zuby, and it's almost like he was just like trying to lift people's spirits. Do you remember like back in the midst?
Yeah. Oh, I remember. Yeah.
It was weird. And I became aware of him just because he was a guy that just spoke his mind, which was lacking at that time. Even the freedom to do it was not. I mean, as we've seen the Twitter files come out, I'm just sort of tired of people that choose tribalism over truth. I'm kind of done with people like that. I've just just even talking to people that I know in the industry, I've known for decades, and it's weird just how in lockstep everyone is to think a certain way. And I've never been that. I've always sort of taken a different approach to things, or at least kind of look at the facts and whatnot. But it's just now it's so extreme. But the tribalism over truth, I can't take people like that seriously anymore.
No.
So,
and we're seeing it on full display with Twitter.
Yeah, Twitter's kind of fun now, and you can kind of say whatever the hell you want, and there's certain words that aren't banned anymore. He got rid of, and just seeing the types of conversations that these assholes who worked at Twitter were having amongst themselves. The arrogance, the hubris, the sort of, and doing it all under the guise of we're the good people, so we're doing this. What a bunch of annoying children who are drunk with power. Screw them all. There should be investigations about this. And if you don't think this is happening at every other social media company, because Twitter's low on the list when you take the top social media companies, number 1 is Facebook. Number 2 is YouTube. And Twitter's like number 18 or something. It's down there. But just seeing all this internal communication, it's like everything makes sense, and they lied about it while they were doing it. They were shadow banning accounts and doing all that stuff, and then they were doing it internally, making jokes about James Woods, and just that kind of arrogance. They don't take with any sort of level of seriousness. The role that they play is sickening to me. I mean, as much as look, I like to joke like the next guy. I make jokes about myself all the time. I have a very good sense of humor. I take what I do at Film Thread kind of serious because I'm trying to fight a fight. I've been trying to fight the fight against Hollywood for a long fucking time. And I'm just like, I'm done. I'm so over it. And we've been working on this documentary for over a decade about Film Thread in the 90s. I'm watching all these old weird videos of myself and I'm like, oh shit, I'm just saying the same thing. There's nothing different. It's just the same thing. It's just, it's just weird. Anyways, but yeah, that Twitter stuff just pisses me off.
Yeah.
And it should make everybody angry.
Yep, dude. Hail Chris Gore.
Thank you, Joe.
Hail Chris Gore.
I'm just saying I've never seen Hollywood so, people in Hollywood so divided in this weird way. And I think it's manufactured. It's completely manufactured. Because I don't know that anyone that says, oh, I hate Elon Musk. Well, what do you know about him? And if you just even take him at his own words, I mean, he's funny, but also he has very insightful points.
And this is how he runs a business, by the way. It's no different.
Right.
He runs Tesla. Believe me. Tesla was just like this. It was kind of fun, And so I told you we had 2 emergency meetings when he fucking smoked that joint on Joe Rogan, and I'm like, why am I here for a second one? I'm like,
right.
He smoked a spliff. I'm sober. You know what? I want our CEO to get high. I do. I want him to be different. I want him to be one that's different, Yeah. I walked out of the meeting. When you're old, you can do shit like that and get it because I'm like, they're not going to fire me for that. They might try to write me up. They might even write me up. I don't care. I'm not staying here. I got work to do. Rottweiler AK for $50 says the philosophy is called the noble. The philosophy is called the noble savage. Sadly not new. No. Big idea in 1800s and early 1900s. It's been around for a long time. You're not wrong. But Chris, you brought up like you're in it to win it. You're not in here just to it might have started that way with Film Threat, but it turned into something else. You're out to change Hollywood. You're out to try to do something. And that's what a lot of content creators found themselves embroiled in, whether they liked it or not. Like this culture war thing is real. It's happening. I just wanted to review television, dude. That's all I wanted to do. I think, this is important. And we started talking about it more. And, I've always said it was bigger than fucking Star Wars. It's always been bigger than Star Wars. It's bigger than Hollywood. It's our culture. And if they can get away with the shit that they have been getting away with in Hollywood and comic books, they're going to get away with it everywhere else. And now we're in the midst of they're getting away with it everywhere else because enough of us didn't speak up. And that includes me. That includes a lot of people, but now we are, and we have to do it now. I put this on Twitter the other day. Let's do it now. So while we can do it with memes, because in the future, it won't be done with memes, if you know what I'm saying. So it's better that more of us show up now. And Chris is about it. Like, you know what? That's why, there's some people in this sphere on YouTube who aren't about it. Say they're about it, but they're not about it. I ain't got time for that. I don't.
Well, I think that, when I look at like the channels that become my favorites and sort of just the ones I watch on the regular, everyone has sort of a different point of entry or a different sort of thing that they hit on. The thing that I always like to hit, what I like to hit on is like, watch something else. We know this stuff is garbage. Here are some other choices, but everybody contributes. I like the people that contribute to this conversation because everyone kind of has their specialties. I mean, your specialties being Lord of the Rings, man. When you talk about Lord of the Rings or Game of Thrones, like that comes from a place of expertise and pointing things out that I wouldn't have noticed. And so I appreciate that. So I just like that, like, I mean, you walk into a comic shop, there's no one that can know everything, but everybody's like, well, I know everything about, whatever it is, Superman or whatever it is. And I love that. That exchange of knowledge is really, great.
It's important. Yeah.
It's important because we can't all be experts in everything. There's just too many things, and that's good. So, my expertise is indie film and the industry, coming at it from that perspective, and also making and release. I'm getting ready to put my movie out in April, so I can't wait. We'll talk about that later, but I can't wait because I
can't wait either.
Yeah, we'll talk about that later. I don't want to say anything. I know we're yeah.
So we'll look at this little graph here, read some soups. I know you got to go pretty soon. The show. So this is IMDb rated shows over the last few years that were 8 and above, and it's just all of them. From where it was. Was this from Disney? I forgot. This is from. Here we go. Netflix. Although Netflix did just premiere Wednesday, which has been well received and got an 8.5 on IMDb. Otherwise, Netflix's new series seem to have lost their luster, down 70%, despite writing on older series such as The Crown and Stranger Things, which are the Stranger Things is about to end. It's got their last season coming. I predicted late 2021 that they would soon stop growing, and they have. So we have 2014 and 15 as 8.5 above IMDb shows from Netflix. 11. I would say this was a very good time for television right up until about 2016. We had 16. 2017, we had 20. Then it starts going down. 9 in 2018. What happened in 2016? You know what happened. And then, of course, COVID year 1. But then they started, these are all the shows that they were making and they released. We're down to 9. So it's halved from 2017. Again, you're seeing this. Everything's off about half. And it ain't all COVID. It ain't all COVID.
Well, if this is a really interesting data point. Looking at this, like, what are the shows that rank higher than an 8 on IMDb? The number of shows, just the number of shows. And these charts are dramatic. It's really interesting. It's like if Hollywood were a restaurant, you'd stop going there because you realize the food is bad. And what's funny is how Hollywood is not able to digest this information in any way to affect a change. They're not able to look at this and go, wow, people like the stuff that we're making less now. We should make different stuff. I don't know
more of it. Which is what they're doing. Disney has also seen a sharp downturn in the objective quality metrics Marvel used to be a lock for a cinema score, but 3 of its last 4 films have been BB+, and She-Hulk and Miss Marvel got a 5.2 and a 6.2 on IMDb. That must be disconcerting. Strange World has grossed $21 million, not much more than that since then, in the US, and got a 4.7 on IMDb. That is the lowest score I've ever seen. Lightyear got an IMDb 6.0 and grossed 2.26 million. And quite frankly, the metrics he's using are flawed. It's worse than that. It is much worse than that. Miss Marvel was watched by no one. She-Hulk, everybody fucking hated She-Hulk. People can't defend She-Hulk anymore. It is a fucking total disaster. And this is like lest we forget, Obi-Wan happened this year. I believe Boba Fett happened this year. We've had like quite a G4 happen this year.
I know.
I forgot about it.
God.
G4 happened this year and didn't last the year.
Yep.
Literally did not last the year. And as things came out, I mean, everyone wants to point to the Frost, rant. I just think that here's why I feel, she has a point about trolls, just that's not how to handle it. You handle it with humor. You make a joke out of it. You have fun with it. You laugh at yourself. And I think that would have endeared the audience, although I don't know. But like the stuff that came out of like how their hiring practices kind of just, that to me, I could have told you it was going to die. Remember when they said, should we cancel Batman? Like,
yeah. Wow.
Remember that?
Yeah. So you were the first person I thought of when I heard that. I'm like, oh, that is so not G4. Wow.
Yeah. I mean, G4, one of the main writers there, I thought was one of the most talented guys there. This guy named Mike Shaw did a character that was like, whenever they played Batman on the show, it was him. He played it and he was great. And the bits were funny. They were, it was great. It celebrated Batman and sort of made fun of things about Batman. And it was awesome. It was totally the right tone. And the problem is, I don't think G4 figured out what the right tone is in the modern age. And they played to that a little too much, or they didn't look at the landscape. They should have looked at YouTube and said, do we really even need to bring G4 back? And if we do, in what format should it actually be? Because look at how popular, G4 was talking about pop culture, tech, comic books, movies, video games. That was what it was. Well, there's a lot of people that already do that on YouTube, some of them with huge, vast audiences, right? Like huge. Yourself being among them. So how do you come back when that's your competition? And when people people really like authenticity. I think that's also part of the reason the original G4 was popular, is because of the authenticity of the two main hosts. They kind of set the tone. And before I even had gotten a G4, I was done with doing television. I'd done television for FX, for Stars. I did some shows for IFC, and I freaking hated it. I hated it because I thought it was so phony. They wanted to create like a hip, cool version of me. And I'm like, well, I'm not really hip or cool. I'm a big nerd, and that I want to. So one of my big demands, it wasn't a big demand at all. I just said I want to dress how I want. Yeah. I just want to be able to wear whatever T-shirts, and that was like a thing that I told them. I said, can I just dress the way that I feel comfortable, and then I just wore T-shirts like for your store, Comic Outpost. I wore T-shirts for like bands, friends of mine that were in like local bands, or I would wear Film Threat T-shirts. I was like, I'm going to use my T-shirt to just promote shit I like and have fun with it. But I don't know. It's weird. I think people, especially when you see even on social media, I love when you see someone will make a statement and then you'll see someone correct, but you rarely see people say, oh, well, thank you for the correction. Right. Like,
yeah.
I don't know. It happens on YouTube though. That's why I love the chat. The chat is always
like, there's no script here. So we're going to get stuff wrong. I'd rather risk getting stuff wrong and like just be corrected, because I don't really care. I get shit wrong all the time. Whatever. Who gives it? So we said, when I saw the big black afro spider chick, that's Spider Woman, by the way, it came, when she came in, I was out. It says TKG Moth Hollis. Yeah. I wonder if she's pregnant. I wonder if they're going to make her pregnant like they did the pregnant Spider Woman in the comic books. But yeah, I definitely saw Peter Parker with a pink robe on. The trailer was really underwhelming, to be honest with you. I thought it was very underwhelming.
I like the first one. I thought it was entertaining. It was fun. I like the animation style. I thought it was cool. It just seems like now they're leaning into, it's like, okay, now that we're popular and we have a brand that people like, now we can push the shit that we really want to push. And I didn't feel like it was pushed in that. I actually thought that the Miles Morales was a likable kid. It's different. Miles Morales is not Peter Parker, but he's a different version. I thought that Spider-Verse movie was fine. This new one just looks that trailer looks bad. And that one line in there was just all, oh, I just cringed.
No,
when
it's
I
going
heard
to be the typical thing.
Oh,
It's going to be the typical thing. They're going to not go as woke in the first one, and then they're going to go hard in the paint in the second and third. That's yes, there are only two genders. That is considered a controversial, even now on YouTube. But oh well. Chris, I know you got to go. I'm gonna let you go. I got to read some super chats, but plug away. You got a stream coming up? Please tell us what's going on.
Yeah. First of all, I want to say just thank you again. Just have me on every week. It's always a pleasure. I can sit on my couch and sort of half work on email while I listen, and then I can chime in, and I love it. So I appreciate it, Gary. Also had such a blast hanging out with you. It was great. I feel like it was like we were in a buddy comedy from the 70s. We didn't know we were in.
Yeah,
you know?
that was a crazy week.
It was fun. A crazy week. It was super fun. So thank you for that. I'll be back next week. X-Ray Girl, thank you. Yeah, Gary is a biologist all of a sudden.
I identify as one right now, so I am. So
He's a trans biologist.
I'm a trans biologist.
Oh no. But yeah, I'll be back next week. Thank you, X-Ray Girl. Always great hanging out with you too. Appreciate it. I'm excited for your Puss in Boots review on your channel.
I'm glad he finished that.
I'm glad for your Puss in Boots.
Oh, no.
I had to think about that for a moment. I was like, oh no, what?
But yeah, I'll be doing my live stream with Alan Ing on the Film Threat channel starting at 1 p.m. Pacific time, 4 p.m. Eastern. Join us. We have a lot of fun. It'll be Alan and I, maybe some other special guests popping in. And we're going to talk about this dismal award season. We're going to talk a more robust review of Avatar, if people care to hear that. And there you go. Just pop by Film Threat. We have a lot of fun. So thank you so much, Gary. I'll see you next week, man. I'm sure I'll talk
see you
to
next week.
See you next
Bye,
week.
Chris.
Probably talk to you via DMs right after I see the movie.
All right. Hail chat. Take care, everyone. Love you all. Bye-bye. Bye.
Later, brother. Chris Gore, ladies and gentlemen. Nerd royalty. Nerd royalty, but the Mary Sue has never heard of him. She-Hulk twerking is better than the new National Treasure show, and I stopped watching She-Hulk after that. Yeah, that National Treasure show is bad. It is worse than you could possibly imagine. Worse than you could possibly imagine. All right. Big Prick, spelled with a P-R-I-Q, on the Streamlabs side for $10. Hey, all. Love the Wednesday Nooner. I get high and order a huge barbecue pizza normally, and today is no different. Gary, did you see that the 13th and the 14th Dr. 5-inch figures 2-pack is? Yes, I have seen it. The Tenet face sculpt is a 5-head. Merry Christmas to you guys. Yeah, it's probably like I'll wait until somebody breaks it open and sells him loose. I'll get it because I own pretty close, not every, but pretty close to every Doctor Who figure, like repaints, everything. They're all over the walls here. But I ain't getting that Jodie because she's terrible. And she's gone now. Caesarea for $10 on the Streamlabs side. Thank you. Hot D shirt just arrived. Oh, that's good.
That's awesome.
I have a Hot D shirt right here. Mine did too.
Oh, nice.
There's your Hot D shirt.
I keep feeling actually like I should have gotten the green shirt, but I didn't.
I'll wear it on FNT.
Thank
you. You're welcome. Thanks for the shirt, lady. And thanks for putting the money towards a good cause.
Yeah.
Caesarea, X-Ray Girl for the early Christmas gift. It was awesome meeting all of you in Orlando, and thanks for keeping me sane. You're welcome. Thanks for keeping us sane. Mm-hmm. Seriously. Nikhil Sai Krishna Bandala for 100 Indian pesos. Says, please watch RRR, Gary. May I know why you not seem interested in the anti-colonialism movie? RRR, really good anti-colonialism movie. Love from India. Dude, I am American. I am anti-colonialism. I'll watch it. It's just It needs to be seen in my home theater, which means it's got to be like a day off, and I don't really have those. So, but Christmas time I will, or I'll be divorced, and I don't want to be divorced.
We don't want that.
So I'm trying to get all my work done this week. Matt McClure for 5, but thank you. And yes, I will watch RRR. I will. I promise. Chris Gore and has Campia always been about Chris Gore has Campia. Oh, he's asking Chris Gore and he's gone. Has Campia always been about wokeness, or did Collider keep him in check? RMB is the only level-headed guy there. Love Nerdrotic. I will answer that question. I think he's always been this way, but I think he, along with the rest of the industry, got a bunch of TDS, which is a thing. It's a thing. It's an absolute thing. And it does happen with other leaders. I mean, people were acting that way about Bush too, but now those people like love him for some reason. Because globalists love each other, and that's great. But I never liked Bush. Saying. I didn't like Gore either. I didn't like either of them. And I was like, but yeah, I mean, I'll ask Chris next time I see him. I don't know Campia. I know Campia backed Rob against a bunch of other phonies. But that's not saying much. What happened to Movie Talk in the early days is it was filled with a bunch of failed wannabe news anchors, wannabe TV presenters, wannabe comedians, wannabe actors, and they just saw this as a placeholder till they got to where they wanted to be creatively. Now, once in a while, you get a schnepp who's a real fucking fan and a real creative, but not often. Most of the time, it's just teleprompter reader, TV presenter, really basic bitch shit. And yeah, they got it off the ground, but it evolved into actually getting real nerds in there. Like, G4 had real nerds working there, like Chris Gore. And that's what it's evolved into. And that's why, there's still a market, and I want it to exist. I don't want I want Campia to exist and make lots of money on this platform. Absolutely. Make all the money you can. I'm just going to disagree with you. That's all. But see, they don't want me to exist. They don't want you to exist. They don't want this arena to exist at all. That's the big difference. That's the big difference. And it's not even right or left anymore. It's Carrie Smith said wisely a couple of years ago. Are you pro-authoritarianism or are you anti-authoritarianism? That's what we're at now. Brian Gade for 100 Danish krona. After watching you guys talking with Graham, I went talking about Graham. I went back and backed his book. Oh, Graham Nolan, talking with Graham. And I went and backed his book because it looked cool and he was an awesome guest. I hope you get him back on the show. We will. He did great yesterday, Brian. An X-Ray Girl. Graham was awesome. It's on the channel if you want to watch it. We had Graham Nolan, creator of Bane, and just a comic book legend. Absolute comic book legend on, and he hung for the whole show. Eric K for $2 says, Boomer, we can't see you. But I can see you, Eric. I can see you, especially when you sleep. Robert the Fourth for $10. Bless Jennifer Lawrence for inventing the Nooner and humbly allowing Gary to profit off it. Thank you, Jennifer. I mean, praise be Jennifer Lawrence. I'm looking forward to Lawrence Miss because she's the reason for Christmas. She's the reason for the season. Cool V for $5. Hail Nerdrotic and others. I would like to say that I am part of the 1% of 18-year-olds that keep up the good fight. Thank you. All right. Oh, we got some youngins watching. We do.
Did the female percentage get bigger yet?
It has no. I'm sorry. There's no growth in the female percentage.
There's no growth. No, you're at 9.5%.
Oh, I am. Oh, wow, that has gone
in
up
the last 28 days.
Holy crap!
Yeah,
really?
we found some growth in the females.
We found some growth in the females.
That's Az's favorite kind of female. I'm joking. Sorry, Az.
Mm-hmm. He's too busy watching National Treasure and crying right
Oh
now.
no, he's playing The
Has
Witcher
anybody
right
done
now. I'm sure.
Oh, is he?
I think so. He said he was going to. Let's see. Hop on a YouTube.
Wyatt Schumott for $10. Gary, we need your take on the God of War series being greenlit by Amazon. Oh no. Oh no. You want my take? No. Will it suffer the same fate of Rings of Power? Yes. Yes. Same people in charge. Who are the showrunners? But if Jennifer Salke is quickly trying to steal Kathleen Kennedy's crown. Now, Kathleen Kennedy fucked up the biggest IP in the world in multiple ways. But Kathleen Kennedy hasn't started a $1 billion series and failed with it. That's an accomplishment. That is an accomplishment. F for $10. Review the AOC movie. Oh God. It made $10,000. AOC is an actress hired by the Democratic Party. She's an influencer and an actress hired by the Democratic Party, which isn't a dumb thing to do. But she's dumb. And I guess she fired one of her handlers that made her sound less dumb, but now she sounds more dumb. Listen, she's got big boobs. She got big boobs. That will get her a lot of votes. I'm waiting for Spider Hobo to appear in the Spider-Verse. No creative whatsoever. Mark Wilkins for $10. He might. Compare the trash products today to Conan the Barbarian 40th anniversary. Conan was story first. Casting for the roles was not checking diversity boxes. Practical, amazing sets. We want that today, says John Kokoza. What's up, John C., my brother, for $10. And that's why it's an all-time classic, directed by one of the greats. One of the greats. Vapor Trails for $9.99. John Milius. $9.99. Once is feasible to do a CGI independently. Hollywood is finished. Once it is feasible to do CGI independently, Hollywood is finished. Yeah, and AI will do that. AI will do that. So, you know, the one thing keeping a lot of us from making a show won't be there anymore. It'll be easier, you know, kind of like editing became easy. I mean, like, how many times do we have to see this? But editing's a great example. Used to be very difficult when you had to literally cut film, but then Final Cut Pro, Avid, all these come along. Now anybody can edit. Anybody can edit. It still doesn't mean that, I mean, there's still great editors out there who are artistically talented, know what they're doing. See, that's the one thing artists don't have to fear. Like, Graham Nolan's a great artist. Like, AI is never going to hurt this guy, like, ever. But is it soulless? Yeah. Especially if it's taking from other people's art. But if you're able to work it to where you just throw in your own pictures or your own art, I think it can be a great tool. A great tool. And it will be. It will be. Just like Photoshop is. And Photoshop allows you to cheat in all kinds of wonderful ways. And Illustrator. Jay Cha-Cha for $10. On lunch break, sitting in Filiberto's, enjoying a carne asada burrito, listening to the Nooner. Hail. Oh.
That sounds wonderful.
That sounds wonderful. That sounds so wonderful right now. Filiberto's. Which one? Which one? Is it the one in Encinitas across from La Paloma? Bass Player 2011 Iffy for $10 says, check out Valiant Renegade's 2 most recent videos. All things are not well at Lucasfilm. I can't imagine they are. Not after Willow just bombing. According to Bounding into Comics, amazing, likely to reboot Stargate as Brad Wright's pilot destined to gather dust. Amazon will be rebooting Stargate. At least you have the best Stargate on Blu-ray. I do, Matthew. And I plan on watching it. I will. I watched Babylon 5. What was that?
I do too. One day.
Well, we should watch it. Well, you haven't.
When I come down and do puzzle.
Have
I
you
haven't watched that, so I'm just making my way through Star Trek: The Original Series so far. That's
Okay,
it.
make your way through that. I might make you sit through a couple of Christmas specials before the end of the year. Just give you an idea. They're kind of one-offs, so you won't be totally lost. And one might spoil everything. Maybe not. We'll see.
I will forget about it pretty soon after. I've
Yeah.
got a pea brain when it comes to TV shows.
No, you don't. No,
Okay, I have a fish brain. There we go. I'm forgetful. I'm like Dory. What did you just tell me?
Escape. Would you guys consider doing retro movie reviews to highlight older good movies? Pre-start off the woke era. Yeah, I would. I think there'll be more time as my this is my first year of having editors. It's not even been a full year yet. Pretty close. But we're getting more in tune, and I'm getting faster at recording, so that will free me up to do more. That's the whole point of it. The last good late show was the Late Show with Craig Ferguson. You are correct. I was so sad watching the last week on air, says Ian Corellis for $9.99. Agreed. Greg Spencer for 10 Canadian pesos. Love the Windsor ONT part. Sargon's slave trade video is coming up a ton now. Other YouTubers reviewing it is something to watch. They come away mad. They were not taught about it in class. Oh, you mean
it's about the indigenous stuff.
Yeah. Oh yeah. The indigenous enslaving themselves and doing horrible things to themselves. Yes, that's why they were able to be conquered, because they weren't united. Because do you think America, at least in the beginning, do you think they had a chance? Like the numbers were astronomical. But they, some were peaceful, some were not. They were pretty spread out,
Well, and then they were fighting against people who had guns.
Yeah, that kind of helps too.
Yeah.
Amazon has ordered a God of War series, God of Woke, fighting a pantheon for inclusivity and fighting bigotry. I'll be holding a funeral for God of War in Maryland. For fuck's sake, hail Chad, says Joseph Stotts for $9.99. Wagon Burner. It's pretty clear that Hollywood is a wily coyote and we are Roadrunner and woke. And woke is the Acme company. Absolutely. Good analogy there. Indy 6 and the nursing home of doom, says Eric John Pizza Artist for $1.99. I saw Indiana Jones. Somebody put up a poster, Indiana Jones in the afternoon nap. It was great. It's just old Indiana Jones sleeping. Zach Red Pillar for $10 says, I think you're wrong about the normies not fighting the culture war. Why do you think profits are cratering in these woke products? Get woke, go broke is normies fighting the culture war. It's just quiet. Yeah, it's just not enough. It's just not enough. But like we still get like massive opening weekends for like Thor and and Wakanda Forever. So still ways to go.
And I mean, like, I'm a normie and we don't talk about this sort of stuff. Like, we don't talk about why we don't like things. We think about the things that we like, and then we're like, it was an okay movie, though, but I like this and this. But it's not enough for us to understand, like myself at least, to understand why I didn't like the movie. The story wasn't strong enough, clearly. But the woke stuff, I never realized it until I came over to this side of the world.
Yeah. There's certainly more normies aware of it, Zach, now than there were 2 years ago. Like a lot more. So like we're making progress where we were making zero progress before. I'll give you that. Like the progress is there. Now it's got to reach to the like almost unreachable Mount Olympus morons who work at Hollywood, or they just get fired. Either way, I'm good. Enoch Ramon, abuser of Streamlabs for $10. We have to stop coming after Az for statements about Bride on She-Hulk. That's so last month now. Now it's time to focus on Attention Gary for saying he slept with Warren Ellis. Free Az Target Gary. No. At least I caught myself, and I was speaking as somebody else. Like Az was straight up. Those are nice tits. Okay, big difference. But you can come after me. I'm fine. Tiara Star Brighter for $5. Yeah, what was Kathleen Kennedy's strength? She isn't creative. Is she good at making deals or obtaining resources for creatives? Lucas kept her around. She was very good at making deals and she was good at coordinating projects, right? But she wasn't creative. She didn't do anything creative. But you are the head of the fucking Lucasfilm. You need to be somewhat creative. That's the one of Bob Iger's biggest flaws that he practically admits to in his book. Like, he's throwing notes at Jon Favreau for Mandalorian. The guy wants to be a creative and he's not. He's just not. And I'm sure Jon Favreau went, yeah, you know. Jeff Bezos threw notes to Rings of Power. You think they're not gonna? These guys are egomaniacs. They think I can do this. I am the CEO of a multi-billion-dollar company because I kissed the right ass and was the right kind of backstabber. So yeah, they're not gonna think they can't do it. Hail Gary, milady. Since Amazon have got the rights to God of War, mayhaps Jennifer Lawrence will be playing the titular character for 10 British pounds and write and direct and produce the show. Max Santiago for $2. Balenciaga showed what these weirdos worship. They did. Yeah. And that's still, everybody's all upset about fucking Elon on Twitter and not kids posing with bondage teddy bears, you fucking freaks. Felipe Abrigo for 2,500 Chilean pesos. Hi, Gary. Finding it hard to get through Doctor Who. Yes, I am a pussy. Should I just jump to Eccleston and keep going? Yeah, I think if you're brand new to it, I know like classic Who fans are going to get mad at me for this, but do the new series first. And then if you like it, then go to the old series. Smashy Barnes Bamswell for $5. What would be the reaction to a Roots reboot with a white Kunta Kinte? I'd laugh my ass off, but it probably wouldn't be very good. It probably wouldn't be very good. Unpopular movie reviews for $5. Thomas Sowell has a new book coming out next year called Social Justice Fallacies. Just thought everyone should know. I'll check it out. Thank you. Lutha Sunspell for $4.99. Off topic, but what do you think of SBF, the FTX guy, will get to testify about his fraud, or will he get Epsteined? If he gets Epsteined, I can't say what we should do on this platform. Maybe you can guess, but I can't say what we should do. I'm tired of all this stuff being done in our face. What we need to do is drain the swamp, dude. That has not changed in 5 years. We need to drain the fucking swamp, but it's not just the one in Washington. Andre Odette, by the way, he was a huge donor. Do I think he's a patsy? I don't know. I haven't seen enough interviews with the guy to I think he was a dumb young guy who had no morals, and his life is over now. Over. Oh, well. Andre Adetti for $4.99. Did you see the trailer for 65? Intriguing trailer at the onset, and the reveal of what the movie is sold me. I have not. I will, though. King's Advisors for $5. What was about to watch some Doctor Who the other day with how awful Jodie was. I can't make myself. Any advice? Go back to your like favorite comfort episodes and you'll be fine. I watch the Christmas specials this time of year all the time. No problem. It ends pretty much with season 8 with me, or the 50th anniversary. That's when it's over. I love Capaldi, but quite frankly, he only had like one decent season. The writing was terrible. Moffat bent the knee, probably regrets it because I know Moffat's better than that. Used to love movie talk. So grateful for Nerdrotic for being my go-to non-woke movie talk and a Hollywood talk. Thank you, says Matt McClure. You're welcome. I think the movie talk was just boring. And nobody comes to YouTube to hear, well, you may like it, you may not. Maybe we should wait until we see something before we speculate. Like, when did fans ever do that? Never. Do we do that about sports? Do we do that about politics? What is this bullshit of like, we should just be super subjectively objective and wait till something comes out before we totally judge it and don't speculate about anything. Don't talk about rumors. Fuck that. Fans talk about all that shit all the time. I mean, I remember first hearing about The Rock possibly playing Black Adam when I was at the comic shop. Okay. Wizard Magazine ran with rumors all the fucking time. So did Star. So did all of them. Okay. So this myth that people didn't speculate, prejudge, it's bullshit. It's always been part of fandom. It's not toxic. It's fandom. Smiley Warhead for $2. I wouldn't say fighting, just not caring. Either one. The thing is, though, you can I don't care about Star Wars anymore, but I care about our culture. So I will continue to cover it if it makes news, if it makes newsworthy news. Reviewing it, I don't review everything. I don't. But I try to at least check it out because I think it's a very good policy if you cover pop culture to watch the pop culture you're talking about. That's why I'm going to Avatar. That's why I at least looked at the first episode of National Treasure and the first episode of Willow. Maria Josefa for $5. Okay, here's a little female representation from Spain. Hail!
Ooh.
Right on. I like your channel and the analysis of films, and I love Chris Gore. We love Chris Gore too. And welcome from Spain. I want to visit your country badly. So welcome from Spain.
I love Spain. Such good food. And
Is it because of the wine? Because you're big old
wine and the food too. I just love
food. Oh God, the food.
Tapas, paella. All I need.
Blue Crossroads for $4.99, and the Oscar for Best Representation for a Motion Picture goes to, I swear, they have to have this award. I can see it happening. Padisha Emperor Saddam Corino the Fourth for $10. Long form discussion on Babylon 5 with EFAP. When? I am sure it would take a 48 straight hours. Seriously, though, haven't heard you talk about Babylon 5 lately. I haven't watched it lately. I'm going to move to Stargate. We are going to be doing, I don't know who's joining me yet, but we are going to be doing on the 18th, I think around 1 o'clock, 1 o'clock, a 20th anniversary stream for the Two Towers.
12 o'clock Central.
Yeah. Eric K. Jennifer Lawrence was the first Doctor.
So Jodie wasn't the first female Doctor.
Yeah. Mark Wilkins for $5. Black Adam was the best movie of the year, but the year in question is 2022. You're not Tyler. I didn't. I'd have to say the Batman's the best superhero movie. But it's again, the year in question is 2022. I didn't see a good superhero movie. It's passable. I will say it was passable. See it first. Give it a chance. Shut up and give us your money. Money, don't believe the lies, says the John Beck for $5 exactly. Give it a chance. Give Hollywood the benefit of the doubt. Fuck no. Luther Sunspell for $4.99. Why do you include Doctor Who 50th anniversary in this canon? The answer for the mystery is the silence was so lame. Love from one of the 9.5% of your audience.
Yes.
The silence didn't start out lame, but they got lame. I love the 50th anniversary special, even with Clara. I think it's great. I saw it's. You saw what, I think Stephen Moffat had a better plan that he had to rush. Well, I know he had to rush because Karen Gillan left early and Matt Smith left early. They were both going to stay longer, and then they didn't. And one of the people responsible was Andrew Garfield. Andrew Garfield, got the Spider-Man gig. He's like, Matt, bruh, because they sound just like that. He said, Matt, bruh, these superhero gigs are brilliant. You should come out to Hollywood. For one, for some reason, when Hollywood does hire straight white male actors for roles, they aren't American anymore. And it probably has something to do with acting skills, I think. But yeah, for some reason, there's a lot of British male actors working in Hollywood. I mean, considering the size of the country compared to the size of our country, right? Disproportionate, I think. Chaos Hoy for $2 says Nerdrotic Doomcock asked about the Inquisition. He hasn't asked me. Andrew Stout for $5. Love you, Nerdrotic. Would you love to say representation is a woke manipulation temptation that has caused Hollywood stagnation in the need of salvation?
Oh my goodness.
Yes. That reminds me, though, old night for the Inquisition is going to be the new night for our paranormal show that Garrett and Quarterblack and I are going to be doing regularly. I don't know if we're doing it this Sunday. Possibly. I think we are. But then I'm going to skip a couple weeks because I need to get work done. But then, oh, shit. I was supposed to talk to Rumble on Monday and I forgot. Rumble, I'll call you soon. And we're thinking about maybe putting it on Rumble, maybe not. We don't know. We don't have a title for it yet. So we're gonna try to think of our own, and if not, then we'll do like a contest or something. But yeah, we're working on the paranormal show for Sunday, and then Nooner's coming back on Monday. That's on the docket as well. Huge anus for that's Hugh Janus for £2 British pounds. National Treasure sucked hard. The show is inexplicably bad. Like, I knew it was going to be bad. You're like, of course it's going to be bad. No. You have no idea how fucking bad it is. It is. You will every muscle in your body, your butthole will cringe within the first 5 minutes. It's like, it's terrible. It's typical Disney Plus, but it's like dialed down. I don't want to say dialed up, but dialed down. Disney could make a space series with TRSR Planet. Disney shouldn't make anything right now, Warren Mason, for $2. Nothing. Lucas Garrett for $5. I'm glad they call us trolls because we are truthful reactors, researchers online looking for lies and subversion. It's what we do. I like that, Lucas Garrett. Well done. Well done. Truthful reactors, researchers online looking for lies and subversion. Estimate of the situation for $5. The only thing that can save that show is the recycle bin. Rupert Patterson for $4.49 saw MI Fallout 2018 for the first time. Oh, Mission Impossible Fallout. Enjoyed, but even then noticed pathetic in and out of movie Simon Pegg getting rescued by the Shiro. Yeah. Is Fallout. I don't think I've seen that one. I got to catch up on them. I will. I have a problem with the first one. And if I had a YouTube channel, I would have made at least 20 videos on making Mr. Phelps the bad guy. Fucking hate that decision so much. Vincent Cruz, and I was liking the movie up until then. I was really loving the movie up until the end. And I'm like, they're not going to make him the bad guy. They did. Mr. Phelps. Nerdrotic. Notice Spider-Woman looked like Misty Knight. People are complaining to why I care, and it's the multiverse. It can be any Spider-Woman. And that's the problem, Vincent Cruz, for $5. It doesn't matter. When you make everything not matter, it doesn't matter. And when it doesn't matter, it just becomes schlock. Multiverses are gimmicks. When comic books are out of ideas or they need to reset universes, it's fun. Like What If is fun. They're fine as a side gimmick. They should never be your plot point. It should be character-driven stories. Guardians of the Galaxy, and even I'll defend Avatar in this if it's good, is if they're good, those are 2 scripts that were written in the before times. I can't see it. I don't think I'm going to like Avatar, folks, but I'll try. I'll be honest, as always. Vapor Trails for $4.99. Just like the music industry, everyone can make pro quality music now. The only thing the major labels have is money. That's Hollywood soon. Yep. Yeah, like drum kits were expensive as fuck. No, your parents had to be rich, or you had to be a drug dealer, or you stole one to have a drum kit. Okay. But now there's like little 13, and it's great. There's little 13-year-old Japanese girls like drumming to Metallica. Fucking, they're cool. It's awesome. But like, and they're like electronic drum sets. They're not even the acoustic ones that are, fucking expensive as hell. They used to like, so yeah, that part of it, once the tools get cheaper, I mean, like, what was the revolution in Hollywood in the 70s? Equipment, film, cameras, lighting became cheaper. I have completely given up on U.S. entertainment. Japan does everything better. Doc Holiday for $5. I walk through the biggest manga section I think I've ever been in outside of Japantown. Okay, so Japantown is in San Francisco, and they have manga bookstores that are just exclusively manga, or at least they had. I don't know if they still do. But outside of Japantown in America, like that Barnes and Noble at San Antonio had a massive manga section that dwarfed the American comic book. And that makes me sad. And you know what? There's other great comic books out there too. Razorfish has great videos on them. Bande dessinée, the French comic books. I believe they're the superior version of the of comic book storytelling right now. I think they are the pinnacle as far as art and story. And they're not superheroes. It's not superheroes. Philip Vicho for $5. They had trouble translating Mesoamerican glyphs because after World War one expert wanted to believe that they were peaceful. Progressives never change. They don't. Woodrow Wilson was a progressive. He was also racist. A racist progressive. I remember who did it? Like Glenn Beck back in the day when he was like writing on his fucking chalkboard, did a great breakdown on Woodrow Wilson. Babylon 5, who are you? What do you want? Order and chaos. Thoughts? Who am I? I want I don't know, Scott. I don't know. I can't watch Babylon 5 again because I got to watch Stargate. I promised Matthew I'd watch Stargate. I'm going to watch Stargate. I got the whole set. I got the whole thing. And I admit, I was openly prejudiced against Stargate because I hated the movie. I fucking hated it. And I like Kurt Russell. I like damn near everything he's in, but I just couldn't stand that movie. I love and I thought I was going to love it because like all the concepts are like all the shit I like, and I hated that movie. But I hear the series is just better. Heck no, I don't trust them with a speck of ash on Kratos' body. Keep them away from God of War, says Pyro Rompa. Yeah, you don't want Hollywood adapting anything. By the way, the gaming industry, I think they're still trapped in this concept that they're the big boys. They're the big boys and girls on the block now. Like, we used to watch a movie because we wanted to see our comic books or our books move, but you don't need that with video games. You not only, you get to see a move, you get to play them. You control the story. It's better than a movie. It's better than a show. Don't you think the gaming industry's got a little bit of insecurity about that? I do. The God of War game is the pinnacle version. That is the ultimate version. It's better than no Hollywood filmmaker can make a better version than that game that you love. They just can't. And if they do, it's not like Peter Jackson adapting Lord of the Rings. That is something we read. A lot of it was in our imagination, and it would be cool to see it like played out in front of us, right? We're never like, to this day, they're not better than the books. They're not better than the books. Very few things that are better than the books. But it was still cool. You know, do you want to stop playing your game to watch a movie about your game when you could just play your game that's better story, better voice acting, you know? I don't know. The synth man, what is he? The synthetic man? He didn't like it. National Treasure, Edge of Herstory, Jennifer Lawrence slays. Montezuma, true story, says Latino Slant. What's up, Polly? Polly, when I saw that first, Polly, I was thinking of you when they dropped the Latinx. I was thinking of you. So I know you love that. You know, like, I was trying to think, like, Harvey Keitel looks really old. And he looks like, not just, there's old and there's worn out Hollywood. I partied maybe a little bit too much old. So, and I love Harvey Keitel. Okay. One of the great actors. Jorgen Jorgensen, have you read Berserk yet? I haven't read it all the way through, but it's great, dude. Like, Berserk is like the real deal. So thanks to her husband, Mark the Cyborg, for like damn near, like, it was like pushing a drug on me. Like, it was, but it was good.
Yeah, he loves Berserk.
Berserk is the shit. I haven't watched there is an anime, but I haven't watched it yet. I want to wait till I'm done with the books so I can be one of those guys like, it's not as good as the book.
Compare it to the original, yeah.
Compared to the original. Dan for $4.99. Do you think Blue Beetle is going to bomb? If The Rock can't make his money back, I'm worried about this movie's performance. Well, Paulie, if you're still out there, we talked to a young man who had seen it, who liked it, said it was good. And yes, I think it will bomb. I'm not saying it's going to be bad. I'm saying it's going to bomb. I don't think Shazam's going to do very well. And part of the problem is now the public knows these movies aren't going anywhere. So that is James Gunn just made it very clear. He just undercut all these movies, whether they meant to or not. They're not going anywhere. So that's going to these are going to be one-off movies. And they're, Black Adam. Black Adam was really average, not really well put together. The story there was no fucking story. There was some good fighting in it and stuff, and he killed people. That was great. But there's just no character to really attach yourself to, no through line, no emotion. It was just there. That's the same. I can't see Blue Beetle being any different. And plus, I mean, Ted Kord gets a mention in it, but he's not in it. But I do think it will bomb. Yes, I don't think it will make its money back. I think Shazam is in danger of not making its money back. And it's the habits of the moviegoer too. Like, people are just, it's a lot easier to go, I'll wait for it to be on a streaming service and then forget about it. The Ultimate G-Man for $20. I think the game industry is a lot of ways fails to realize that it itself has more storytelling opportunities than anywhere else. I was upon hours of time to characterize the character with dialogue, actions, even play style. Exactly. Like, what is it about, like, Red Dead Redemption? A game I played. I like the playing of it, but it was the world. It was the story. That's what I was like. That's what fucking hooked me in. I was like, oh, this is fucking cool. Diablo, same thing. Diablo 2 got same thing. I like the world. I like what's going on. I like my little quests. I mean, there wasn't much story, right? But why do people like The Witcher 3? The story and the play, but they like the story. If it's a shitty story, they're not gonna stay. So it's the world, it's the characters. People love Geralt. Like, yes, games do it better. As a former comic shop owner and a comic book fan, it breaks my heart to say that, because like what truly started the death of the comic book was video games. We were competing for the same audience and we lost. Enoch Ramon, abuser of Streamlabs, for $5. Oh, drum kits are expensive. For some reason, I thought you said drunk kids are expensive. I guess both can be. Never mind. If your kids are drunk and then you have rehab bills, yes. I was an expensive kid. I can laugh about it now. I don't think my dad thought it was funny. Ezekiel Castleton for $5. You're dead on about video games to movies. They're bigger. The video games don't translate well to movies. Mass Effect will be a horrible TV show. Yeah, it was called Star Trek Discovery Season 2. Subscribe to Mitch Games 247 for $7.99 Australian. Was Jennifer Lawrence also the first action lady in the casting couch? I think not. No, but Ryan had the absolute, probably one of the best like one-off jokes in FNT history with that. Don't you agree, X-Ray Girl?
I don't remember it.
Oh, of course.
I told you, fish brain. I did put a note about it so I can relive it. There's a note about what time it was at.
Yeah. So, yeah, he said Jennifer Lawrence probably thinks she's the first one who fucked Harvey Weinstein.
Oh,
So,
that one. Yeah.
That was a good one. But the timing, it was not just a joke, it was the timing. Like Ryan's got like seriously good timing.
Yeah, he does.
Even Chrissy has a minute. But speaking of Chrissy, about 5.5 hours, I'll be on her channel.
Oh.
Yeah, I don't know. We'll be talking about what do you guys talk about? Makeup, gossip,
Simpcast?
Yeah, whatever.
Are we going to be simping for Gary over on Chrissy's channel?
I don't think so. There's no simps for me. I'm too old.
Oh.
Wow.
New monitor.
Everybody heard that, by the way.
I can't look at you. I hate you, Mark. I'm so red right now.
That was great.
Oh my god. I feel so warm. Thanks, Mark. Thanks, honey.
Good timing, buddy. Our hero for $15, 1997 Berserk anime is amazing. The English dub is fantastic and rivals Japanese dub in my opinion, but please do not watch the 2016 anime unless you are drunk and with friends. I can get my friends drunk to watch it, but I can't do it any drinking myself. Tomorrow's Counter Attack for $4.99. So there's an older one. So there's two versions. Yeah, I'll watch the 97 one. I usually watch the older one first. Everyone always mentions Top Gun and No Way Home, but never Dune. Villeneuve's adaptation treated the IP how we want our IPs to be treated. Yeah, it's because Warner Brothers kind of undercut Dune in the theater. And by the way, Timothy Chalamet said they just wrapped 2. But I've kind of come around on Dune and I like it more than I did when I first watched it. And I don't know why. And maybe it was just the experience, because the first time I watched it was not in a theater. But I watched it in my home theater and holy shit. Yeah, it was, I still don't like where they ended it, but I've come around on it. As far as like a technical achievement though, and adaptation, yeah, it was done pretty well, I guess. I mean, like I've never made it through the books, but a lot of people I trust say that it was done well. Captain Biscuits, yo, for $2. I fired X-Ray Girl in my new video. You need to be better. Oh, I'm not gonna.
I wasn't aware that I was hired by you.
Yep, but now you're fired. Captain Biscuits fired you. How do you feel about that?
No different. I feel the same. Yeah, it's fine.
Sean Z Comic Construct for $1.99 says video games suck now too, in my opinion. Nerdrotic Nerdrotic Nation. Jeremy and I were talking about that. Like Jeremy doesn't feel like how much they suck isn't talked about in our sphere, and I would agree with that. I would agree. So he is going to change that.
Well, and then look at how lazy they are with releases. I didn't play Callisto Protocol, but apparently it was horrible on a lot of or on the Steam system on PC. And then Mark said the game actually sucked in general too, once he played it on console. So they're unfinished products yet again.
Yeah. It's churning them out too quickly. It's gotten too corporate. It's ruined the creativity. Yep. Smiley Warhead for 5 Canadian pesos. Diablo 1 should be a movie. Rated R settings. Tristram Catacombs. Hell no. Lateral travel. Yeah, Diablo 1. I'm still the GOAT, man. I freaking love Diablo 1. I love it. I also like City of Heroes, which apparently you can still play. There's places out there you can play. I loved that game so much. Nuke 'em all for $2. Wait, how big is X-Ray's package? Does Az know? Whoa, that was a good one.
Oh my god. Yes. No, he does not know how big my package is.
Wired for $9.99. Do you get along with Mike and Jay from Red Letter Media? You should have them on the show. I would love to have them on the show. I've never talked to them. They're big time YouTubers. Those are big time, like legendary. Like, I think that honestly, the space on YouTube, I would argue they created. Some people might say different, but I would say I created. Don't agree with them all the time. I doubt they would slum around with me, but I would. You know what? I'll ask them to be on Friday Night Tights. They can just say no or not answer, but I'll ask them. I think that'd be really fun to talk to be honest with you, because I like a lot of stuff they do. Very influential. Video games are just now going full woke. GTA 6 will be the full of intersectional garbage. Yay, says Culture Casino for $4.99. Yeah.
How can stealing cars be woke? I'm just saying.
They'll find a way. How can shooting cops?
Okay, there we go. I got it. Okay.
They get to shoot cops. It'll be like a trans lesbian shooting cops. And Az will be confused the entire game.
Why am I so attracted to my character?
Poor Az. All right. Hey, thanks everybody. That's it for the super chats. Thanks to everyone who left a super chat and a donation. Thank you to Chris Gore for joining us. Go check out his stream. It'll be pretty soon. And oh yeah, that's why I went to my local retro game store. I won't forgive them for taking Tifa's bazungas. Yeah, that's unforgivable. Pyro. I don't even know the game, but that is unforgivable. That is unforgivable. Don't take away the bazungas. They're iconic bazungas. So thanks to the Modrotics. Thank you, X-Ray Girl. And I gotta get to work. So take a little break, take the kid to the gym, get back, get my ass to work, and somehow figure out how I'm gonna carve out 3 hours to watch Avatar tomorrow.
Wait, one more just popped in.
On the Double Toasted Crew. I don't know what the Double Toasted Crew is. Do you know what that is? I will get you one, Austin Griffin, for $4.99. I will find out. I don't know what that is. I know some big YouTuber took a shot at me yesterday, punched down a little bit, which I'm really upset. I'm super upset. It was I can't even remember. Like my son knew who it was because he made me aware of it, and my son's description was, "Don't worry about him, Dad. He's just another mumble mouth basic bitch YouTuber." But it was some guy who like ripped Raimi's Spider-Man movies, and he's got like over a million subs. You can just call me a bitch because I said Miles Morales is Miles Morales, which he has every right to do. But I would argue that maybe you should look at the subtle nuance of the tweet if you're going to be a big video essayist who was supposed to notice that kind of shit and not get suckered into what is basically basic bitch bait on Twitter. But hey, congratulations on having 1.3 million subs. I can't even remember who it was. I'd tell you, but it's not. No, it was. Yeah, I can't.
He's just that forgetful.
I am. Here, I'll get it. No, yeah, I can't. I'm not going to be able to find it because I didn't respond to it. So it's under the Miles Morales tweet from like 4 days ago. If you want to find it, so whoever that YouTuber is. Thanks again to Geek Grind Coffee for always having our back. Who do we have on Friday Night Tights?
Carrie Smith.
Carrie Smith.
Yeah.
Shad will be there too.
Yeah.
Shad will be there too. And we'll be talking about Avatar because I'm making everybody watch it. As he's like, I don't think I'm gonna find time.
Oh, he's playing Witcher. He can find time.
He can find time. And then lots of holiday live streams coming up and a couple of big videos that we're working on. So yeah, not quite the video count I did of a couple months ago when I did like 9 in a month, which is probably my record. But these will be big ones. Got your plush and want to say thank you for being. Oh, I didn't even plug it. I suck. For helping me through both mom and dad passing. Keep it. Oh, Kenny Justice. I'm sorry, man. Anything I can do to make you smile or anything we can do is our pleasure. Cheers. Sorry about that. Yeah, we have Peter Parker as Spider-Man as Alex Jones. And yeah. And he's been saying that for years. Okay. We love Alex Jones. Yeah, we got a plushie. You buy this and the Hot Dog Man, you get 10% off. I'm sure the links were in the chat, and I will plug it much better on Friday Night Tights than I did today because I suck. I'm terrible at that stuff. So again, thanks everyone. We will see you next time. Ciao.
Bye.